fallen and he can't get up.
All right, you guys just missed the epic fall of Paul's camera. This is the behind the scenes just drama that happens on my live stream. So you guys are on my live stream. This is where I talk about whatever comes to mind and just kind of hang out with friends and work on art. And yeah, if you guys are curious what I'm working on, it's going to be a panel for 2 Stories Book 2. And you can get 2 Stories Book 1 by going to Amazon. You can also pre-order Jacob's Apartment, my other graphic novel. Go to graphicmundi.org. So if you like these streams and you want to support it, like do those 2 things. And I'm joined by a bunch of people today, which is really cool. So I think this all started with Jim saying, "Hey, are you doing a live stream tonight?" And then Gary being like, "Yeah, are you doing a live stream tonight?" And then Paul was like, "I want in on this live stream." So we got a nice group of people. Why don't we let everybody know where they can find your stuff and stuff before we just kind of talk about whatever the heck comes up. So Gary, where can everybody find your brilliant work that you're probably working on a page for as we speak?
I am. That's what I intend to do while we're chatting.
That's right, Squatch. If you're watching this after the fact.
That's right, Squatch. Don't even hassle me. Don't even hassle me about working. I'm working right now. You just shut up. But so I am on Instagram, Dinosaurs vs Marsbots, just like you can see right here. And then I'm also on YouTube, just under my name, Gary Hodges, and you'll know it's me because the profile picture is a little cartoony Tyrannosaur gobbling up an alien. So.
Nice. All right. Apparently those things lived underwater for a long time.
That type of story. Yeah. If you want to get real, if you want to just, well, I won't be rude to whoever wrote that book, but yeah, that is one story.
Yes, it is definitely a story. Speaking of stories, as absurd and wild as underwater dinosaurs, we are joined by Jim Lujan, animator extraordinaire. How's it going, Jim?
Good. For one, dinosaurs are not real.
That's true.
Okay.
Dinosaurs are fake. Hashtag dinosaurs are fake.
And what is real is our love for each other here at the Artcasters, or as I like to call us, the Heartcasters.
Yes, that's true. That is palpably true. We have much love for each other.
I'm an animator, and I do animated films, and they're handcrafted, hand drawn, hand colored. And if you come over, I can backhand you. That was my riff on Josh's thing.
I love it.
Yeah. Pretty soon, speaking of backhanding, pretty soon we're going to be able to backhand each other in person, Josh. I don't know if you want to talk about that after Paul gives us his thingamajig. So,
hi, I'm Paul Pate. You can find my artwork at paulpate.com. There you can find portraits and caricatures and comic books and graphic novels. I've written 2 Detective Perez graphic novels. The second of which, there's a serial killer loose in Rust City killing Mexicans.
Did you say killing Mexicans?
Yes.
You're so racist, Paul. But that's why I love you.
It wasn't me. It was the killer. Anyway,
that's what a killer would say, Paul. What's going on here? We're joined by Ronnie in the chats too. Hey, Ronnie, how's it going?
You guys were talking about being in a comic book. My friend Juan was he's in my comic book. That's that second graphic novel.
Got it.
Hey, I'm going to put you in this comic, and you're going to get killed right away. He's like, well, that's great as long as I die in a good way. I'm like, oh yeah, you get stabbed to death. Oh, that's perfect. So
that is awesome. I still owe Ronnie Gunter pictures, and I believe I specified, hey, if I provide these, which I'm going to try to take like tomorrow, but it's like he is basically either killing off cameos or drawing them as monsters. And I was really specific that I want to be killed off. So that's my goal, is to cameo in people's comics and die in brutal ways, like in each one. So
great. If I do another one, I'll hit you up, Josh. You can be dead in my comic.
Yeah, that's true. When they're less racist, you can kill me off. I'm just kidding. I was just teasing. All right, so
No, that was based on a true event quite a few years
really?
ago. Yeah, in
Oh,
Flint,
crazy.
Michigan. I live in Michigan. In Flint,
Nice.
Michigan, there was a guy going around killing black people. He was stabbing them to death. He
My
was a serial
goodness.
killer, and yeah, it was actually pretty crazy time there. But
Yeah, that
so I thought
sounds
I'd
pretty nuts.
twist it out. Anyway,
Paul, did you change it to Mexican so the serial killer wouldn't sue you?
that's right. I don't know if you've ever been sued by a serial killer before, but it's not good.
He
Yeah,
clearly
for sure.
changed it to
I didn't wanna go
Mexicans
down
to
that
cover
road.
his tracks. Like that was, I mean, it's him. Yeah,
There
don't
you
you
go.
read between the
And
lines?
that-
It's him.
Gary knows about this stuff, so listen to him.
That's true.
That's his business.
Paul, honestly, this whole stream, the whole purpose of this is so that Gary can assess whether you are truly the Michigan serial killer. That's
I'm already sold.
yeah.
Slap the cups on him.
You're going to hear a knock on your door right now,
Come get me.
Paul.
Come get me.
Take me away, boys. That's it.
I dare you.
So I don't know if
Go
I
ahead.
mentioned, but my live stream is no longer like an art stream. It's literally like a catch a predator type show where we catch serial killers, and that's what we do on this.
And you're our first guest, Paul.
Exactly. No, that's cool. You guys should check out Paul's work too. I don't know how you do it, man. You're very quick at creating graphic novels. It's pretty impressive, man. But I'm excited to kind of check those out, actually. So those are available on your site?
Yeah. They'll link to the Amazon page where you can buy them. So.
Hell yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, what are you guys all working on? Gary, what are you working on right now?
I am working on digitally inking a page of the upcoming D vs. M 1979. So.
Nice. It's a shame it's digital. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, it is and it isn't. Like if I had unlimited time, I probably would want to do it traditionally.
Yeah.
But I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend over breakfast a few days ago. The stories I write and the kinds of things that I end up having drawn these comics, for every one I've done so far, there are at least a half dozen, maybe a dozen things I have never drawn before in my life. And I have the added so that's a challenge. And then you have the added challenge of I work in strict black and white with one little tiny exception. I've never even used gray tones or half tones or screen tone or anything like that. So with a lot of things, even things you have drawn before, you're trying to puzzle out, how am I going to draw this in just strict black and white?
Yeah,
And
the colors can bail you out sometimes.
Well, if I had to go through that R&D of drawing a thing for the first time or figuring out how to draw a thing in black and white and make it look cool, or both, traditionally, it would take me so long to get, and that's the beauty of undo with digital.
Yeah.
Is like you really quickly what if I did it like this? Nope, that doesn't work. And undo. What if I for example, the main character I've been drawing, this is what I've been drawing the first few pages. It's 1979. She's wearing a very 1979 kind of plaid coat, and I'm trying to figure out how to make this look right. I don't want it to just look like stripes. How do I give it that texture of, you can tell it's like a woolly, coat, like textured patterned coat. I'm trying what if I did it like, nope, that looks like trash. Well, what if I tried it like this? Nope. If I had to do that in ink, pencil and ink every time, sorry guys, I'd be writing a novel. I'd be I'm done. So
yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Actually, that's a huge advantage of digital. It can be a disadvantage too. The edit undo can be like a perfectionist nightmare. For me, digital is great, but I always am tempted to do the eternal zoom thing on personal work. Yeah. Whereas if I'm at my day job, it's I have the clock ticking and I have a crazy deadline. So it's it's just going to be done when it's done, and it's done. That's it.
Scott is a big. He makes the point often that the problem with digital is you can end up taking more time because you're in pursuit of like the perfect line or the perfect stroke or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's right in that that's where then you also need like a maximum amount of time you're going to spend on a page. And that's why I have that page a week. No matter what, I'm starting a new page every Saturday morning. So faster than that, that's great, but I cannot go slower. And that keeps you from noodling and fussing over something for 3 weeks just to get the hair look just right or whatever you're saying.
Yeah. That's completely reasonable too.
Yeah.
I think that also like just setting a parameter, like I would recommend this for anybody working digitally for like the first time or whatever, like setting a self-guided parameter, not only on a time frame, but like limit how far you can zoom. That's a good thing too, where you're like, okay, I can go like 200% and that's it or whatever. I think that all of those things are really good.
You're a better man than I, because right now I'm working on some panels and I'm at 400%. But like,
I dig it though, and I will say the results speak for themselves. You guys should check out Dinosaurs versus Mars Bots, which I believe is going to be reprinted
very soon. I'm
tomorrow.
Just waiting
I'm just kidding.
I mentioned this on Ronnie's The Crimson Owl podcast last night. I'm ready to do a reprint of 75 and 97. All I'm waiting on is my GD IRS refund. I filed my taxes. It's all in there. I'm just any day now. But like as soon as I get that money, I'll be placing the print reorder. So I've been telling all my fans, if you're looking to get your hands on a fresh, steaming hot, crisp, delicious copy of D versus M 1975 or 97, call up the IRS and ask whoever answers the phone, what's going on with Gary Hodges' refund?
I actually called them yesterday about that.
Yeah, I guess they're way behind because of staffing and COVID. Like, I get it. I'm trying not. But they also obnoxiously say on the site, like, give it 21 days before you start calling. And it's been like 30 for me. So I'm starting to get impatient.
Did you tell them that you're an American?
I do mention that right off the bat.
You have rights.
I say, like, I'm an American, by the way. Those American tax dollars.
This is
I channel my grandpa. I was like, you got an interest-free loan out of me.
I love it.
Man.
I envy people who enjoy this time of year. My wife and I still have yet to file, but I'm suspecting we're not getting anything back.
Ever?
What's up?
Ever? You've never filed ever?
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
You don't know.
I can't
you're
believe
right.
They're like, you owe your firstborn child. Good luck with that. No, we have a tax guy to do our stuff because it gets really complicated.
We do too.
But even with the tax guy, it still takes like a full day, like a whole day to just gather everything and get it to him. Not looking forward to that. So, Jim, you're going to be heading to an area of California next.
A certain area where there's a certain cur also.
Whoa.
We won't say who it is.
Yeah.
But,
there's a hint. The first name is Corey, and I'm not telling you anything else there.
Wow.
Guys.
let them figure it out. But and there's also going to be a certain Josh and a certain rest of his family there too, as I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really neat.
True. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
That's exciting.
Should be fun. I hear there's also like crazy, like this time of year, I hear at the beach there's like these I think they're like sea lions or something, but they basically just beach themselves in like a big pile, and like I've seen this before. It's hilarious. They like lie on top of each other and make all these loud fart noises and stuff. It's kind of amazing. It's like comedy.
Sounds like a typical weekend at my house.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm going up there. I'm just gonna
That's
like
a
hop on one of the
Tuesday.
piles and just take a long rest.
Yeah. Leanne's now she's chickening out of kayaking with
Because it's I
Corey,
don't want to get wet.
because
I want to do it in the summer.
it's so cold that you want to get
How
splat.
close is that to San Francisco?
I'm with Leanne on that actually. I don't
in
want
the
to get wet
summer,
and
I want
be
to
in
do it in the
yeah.
summer.
Yeah, I'm
I
kind
have
of
to
down
be
in the
honest.
summer.
Because of all of Corey's mishaps, and maybe this is unfair,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything with him at all.
I agree.
I will.
I agree. I think. Watch, we're gonna eat Chinese food and choke on a noodle.
I know.
It's just
I
not
was
possible.
sort of joking that like so Morro Bay is notorious for being one of the areas where like there's
Great white
often
shark.
No,
sharks.
you know somebody just died. Like what? 3 weeks ago. Do you guys know that there was a shark attack?
See?
Jim,
I
have you?
Morro Bay?
swear the guy died too. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Wait, have we seen Corey in like 3 weeks? I feel like.
Oh no. Oh, poor Corey.
Oh no.
What a way to go. But how unsurprising.
But that was kind of my joke. Was like in Southern California, they always warn kayakers in particular about sharks, and I'm like, you're picking shark-infested waters to kayak,
I know.
and it's Corey Kerr.
Oh, it's totally gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Corey.
Yeah. I absolutely.
He'll of course survive it in some strange way, but it'll be like a
Oh,
insane
by the
story.
way, Corey's okay. I found a photo of him. So
A photo of him from when?
good. Corey's fine. He's all right.
Thank goodness.
Wow.
I
Don't
love
worry
it.
No, that actually probably would happen. I'm gonna tell you a quick story about the time Leanne and I went kayaking and we got
You
divorced.
already did.
Did I tell this story
Yes,
on the air?
you did.
Okay.
I didn't
no,
know
it wasn't on the
you were
air.
a kayaking divorce story.
No, it was
Yes.
with
I don't know if I've heard the kayaking divorce
So
story.
we
No,
went
but-
kayaking in Long Beach,
Corey and his wife.
your hometown, Josh. And we went kayaking, but you can share a kayak. You can rent them.
Yeah, was that in that area that's like
Venice?
kind of by the okay.
Yeah, what's it called? The canals, or what do they call it?
Naples.
Naples, or Napales, as I call it. And so we were kayaking, we were sharing a kayak, and I made the unfortunate mistake of accusing a certain person of not pulling her weight in the kayak.
Oh.
And I was immediately thrown to the sharks in that kayak and cursed. Yeah, she got so mad. But you know what? When she got mad, she got pumped. So so I could just be like this, and she was like,
I'm gonna catch you.
yeah,
So-
Leanne got really mad.
So that's the technique then. What you do is just kind of insult and then kick back.
Oh, wow.
About a
Look at this,
20-minute
you guys.
drive north of San Luis Obispo. Police say just before 11, a boogie boarder was pulled out of the water after an apparent shark attack. The male victim has not been identified at this point.
Morro
The beach
Bay.
is still open, but no one is allowed in the water for the next 24 hours. Fatal shark attacks are pretty rare in California. The last one
But common when Corey occurs in the water.
Yeah, that's true. When Corey is visiting Morro Bay, the sharks it's like
Sharks
chung
just
being
can't-
put in the
they
water.
can't handle it. The temptation. They have to move.
Oh man, I love it.
How
Sweet.
close
Well,
is it to
yeah.
San Francisco?
But we could do the harbor cruise. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, stay in a boat.
Yeah, I like
do that.
I like boat ideas. My wife gets seasick though, so
Oh.
yes.
Hey guys, how
We'll give
close
you
is
some
it?
Dramamine. Is that what it is?
Dramamine.
You guys hear me? Can you?
Oh, I hear you, Paul. What's up?
Oh, okay. How close is it to San Francisco? Morro Bay.
Like right next to it.
3 hours.
Yeah, you
It's
like
not
hop.
too close.
You can put your foot like on Hearst Castle and then another foot on out, and you're on. No, it's about like 3 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours.
From San
By the way,
Francisco.
Hearst Castle is amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Hey, I had a question. Oh, hey guys, I had a question.
Yes.
Hold on, is the caller there? No. So, Josh, have all three of you managed people at work?
I have, but
and so has Gary, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So Paul and I are we're the only underlings. So
Oh.
my wife has to manage people, and she loves it every day.
oh yeah,
Like
it's completely relaxing.
Can't get enough of it?
Yeah,
The
it's great
worst.
having your faith, your whole performance and fate tied to the performance of very mature adults. You know.
Are you able to turn,
Ugh.
Gary and Josh, are you able to turn on and off the, hey, please like me feelings in your soul, or do they just not exist?
Yeah, I had to. You have to. You
Yeah.
have to get over that real quick because it doesn't help you at all.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, I'd be a horrible manager. Everyone would be like, you're not going to do anything until I kill them.
It's like prison. I think it's just like prison. As soon as you become a manager, the first thing you want to do is kill somebody with a chair. And
Yeah,
then
that's true. That is
The
true.
rest of it, it all falls into place.
Yeah, it's good to like when you first get to a workplace, just start, analyzing whatever could be utilized as a shank. Like anything in the office, like would this pen work?
Yeah.
Start assessing your options.
This was handcrafted, handmade, and I'm going to hand it into your ribs.
I actually did. It was difficult, but I actually did enjoy it quite a bit because where I was supervising a team of graphic designers basically, and they the age range, it was usually their first job out of college, and that's a fun. I enjoyed the opportunity to help build a young professional's resume with their first job. Like that was like if they were good, if they were useful, if I could do things with them, if I could put them on projects and hopefully get them some promotions and get them some pay increases, that was really fun. I would imagine more so than if you were working with a bunch of 30 somethings or 40 somethings where all you're doing is making sure they're showing up to work and not like it was fun to help develop a person's career.
Yeah, it's fun to advocate for people too, and like if you can get people raises and stuff, that feels good.
Yeah, that feels good. Like
it feels good to get the
good
team.
Employee, it's fun to like fight for them and look out for them and advocate for them.
Yeah, it's good to have like a that that kind of these are rare moments, but I think if you're in management, you have to kind of celebrate little victories because they're very few and far between. But it's like there's these times where you'll be sort of like challenged with like a crazy deadline or something that seems impossible, and everybody kind of rises to the occasion and like surprises you. And that's one of the coolest things is when like everybody actually goes beyond their capacity and it just kind of all pulls together. It's pretty awesome.
What was your least favorite thing about being a man? Or you're still a manager, Josh. What was your least favorite thing?
I mean, drama is just annoying. And basically the biggest problem you'll ever experience in management is the same problem you experience under it. It's just you have to deal with the consequences of it. So like everyone creates workplace drama in anywhere they work, whether they're aware of it or not. And usually a lot of it has to do with the lack of communication. And so quite often, like the worst dramas you have to deal with as a manager are literally like someone held a grudge for 3 years about something that they didn't communicate or somebody's missing a deadline and they didn't communicate, or someone, I mean, it's always something tying back to like not communicating. So I think that's probably the most frustrating, but it can also be a good challenge because you get to facilitate communication, which is good. But there's definitely times where when you're managing, you're like, are you an adult? Like, this is very strange that you're an adult. How are we both adults? And like, I don't know. Yeah, it can be a challenge, but I find it really rewarding and I'm a lot more relaxed about it. I think the first like 4 years of it was extremely stressful. And a lot of that was me doing first time manager mistakes where like, you know, I'm used to being like the highest performer at my workplace or like on an art team. And so I would be like, yeah, I can do everything. And I would take every task as it came in and like inevitably fail at that. But then like once you've done it for a while, you get better at like kind of delegating stuff out. And then as I've been there longer, I care less, and that actually helps. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like less personal.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
much more relaxed about things, which again like has a really positive impact on the team because then the team is relaxed. Because that's something you also learn in management. Is like whatever you kind of put out, like your whole team will reflect. So if you're like super anxious and nervous, like your team's gonna get anxious and nervous. I don't know. Yeah, I'm rambling, but
No,
but yeah.
Typical manager.
yeah.
But it is fun, like what Gary was talking about, when you have like a young artist or something and you watch them earn their way to like something really cool or like level up as artists, and you get to kind of be a part of like facilitating that. There's something really inspiring and exciting about that, especially with younger, like newer artists, because you get to kind of be that person in their life. And I've had like mentors in my life who kind of opened doors and cleared roadways for me to have success. And so it's fun to be on the other end of that.
Gary, this is the time where you say the exact opposite of what.
Yeah.
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 I totally disagree. No, I think that's basically, I actually, it's very similar, and it might be an age thing, but unfortunately, I don't think it is. I think at any age you find this. You do end up, it's not the worst thing about the job, but it's the most annoying thing is dealing with things that and having to have conversations with people that you wouldn't imagine you'd have to have with a grown-ass adult.
Yeah.
Like that's like, I mean, just basic things where it's like, you feel like you're like a teacher in a grade school.
Yeah.
Like just, why did you do that? Don't do that anymore. Do you know how you made this person feel? Like these basic Sesame Street conversations that you can't believe you're having with like a effing 28-year-old. Other than that,
Would you want to do it again?
I would do it again. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing, but you know what I'd be more mindful of? I hope nobody is watching this who would consider them, who would know that maybe I could potentially be talking about them.
I should also say I'm not a spokesperson for where I work. I just wanted to mention that too. Go ahead, David.
I would be a little careful about. So at least where I was, I was in a team of supervisors, and the department was sort of carved up and equally divided amongst us. And it's a little frustrating when, this is sort of the same thing, and this is something I think they would agree with, even if they were watching. You get promoted and you kind of can't help but think like, all right, now we're going to fix some shit. Like, this is going to be great. We're going to get some things done. We're going to get, all these changes we've wanted to make. And you realize there's like 4 levels of Nimrod above you that are never going to let you change. Like, you're not going to be, even if you could get all of your team on the same page, like no one's going to sign off on some of your vision. So you see yourself becoming a little bit of the villain in Office Space, where you're just this kind of guy who's making sure everything's getting done, but you can't do a lot to make things better. That's a little demoralizing and frustrating.
Yeah, I'll say this. It makes you grow in the areas of like compromise, like, because everyone before they're kind of in the leadership seat, like, has this idea of, when I'm there, like, it'll run this way. And
if I had that job, let me tell you what I would do. And it's like, yeah.
And ironically, like, when you've been at it for a while, you'll hear some of those younger ideas of like what they do, and you can walk it through exactly how that will go down and play out if they try to implement what they're talking about, because you're having to think like, and I'm sure anybody who's worked in management can relate to this, but it's like, I hate to say it, it's like you're playing 4D chess and everyone else is playing checkers. And you're having to think like 10 moves ahead for your team strategically. Like, you're thinking about the whole of the team. So you're like, trying to think about like every single position you have in play. And then you're also thinking about other departments. You're thinking about budgets. You're thinking about like the clients, the client expectation, like the artwork, the quality of the artwork. And then also like these bigger moves you want to make, and you have to make these like little incremental changes to make the big moves. That's how it tends to work. And everybody wants it to be like this fresh startup environment where everyone's just throwing spaghetti at the wall, and they kind of forget that like 90% of startups fail because of that. and so like it's like this weird game of like, yeah, you definitely have to do things that you don't like doing, but also you have to do those things with an objective. Like if you have changes, you have to be happy with like incremental change, because that's how the big changes happen. So like I've been art directing long enough to have seen some really massive sweeping changes happen, but we're talking massive sweeping changes that took 6 years, and like 1 month this thing changes and another month this thing changes. And also just like as a creative too, a lot starts happening when you prove that like what you're talking about makes money. And like a lot of creatives are really weak on that angle too. And so that's one of the strengths I bring to like art direction, is I can think of budgets and money and be budget conscious, and also think about the well-being and creativity and stuff. But I also understand the necessity of deadlines. I've worked in freelance long enough to be like, what I want doesn't matter as much as what the client wants, because at the end of the day, if the client doesn't buy it, it doesn't matter how pretty what I make is. And if that's an unfulfilled client, then guess what? That's not a return client, right? So it's like, and also just basic budget stuff that a lot of artists don't want to think about budgets. They want the best equipment, the best everything. And they aren't kind of thinking about like the overall objective of the company or the company budget in general. And here's the thing that's great about it is like when you're at it longer, money talks. So you can actually like, once you implement a change and it literally brings like millions of dollars, then you can be like, hey, we made this change. It caused us to gain $2 million in profit. So do you want to go back and take away that 2 million, or do you want to kind of advance forward and maybe add another 2 million, right? Like it's that's also one of the tense things about management too, because at the end of the day, if you're not making profit, that's where it gets dirty and nasty as well. So it's like, it's a weird thing, but yeah, I would say like, that's actually one of the exciting parts about it, is when you're literally dealing with the consequence of your visual art, and you can't like BS your way or social media your way through it. You literally, like, if you're not making art that clients like you're out of a job. And I actually enjoy that risk and that tension because like it's fun to see when you actually apply all the knowledge you've acquired as an artist, and like you're mentoring a team, and then you actually do make profit. And those times where it can be traced directly back to like a visual department, that feels good as hell. Kind of like when, I don't know, I'd imagine like with Gary, like if you have like art that was presented in court that was so well done that it actually maybe even swayed the case in the direction, that's got to feel like really good, you know?
It's crazy. I remember I still, it's very much a behind the scenes job. And even it's one of the ironies, just probably like a lot of advertising or PR or whatever. Like you're very visible, your work is very visible, but you're very anonymous. But I still have, like, one of the highlights of my career, I have a thank you note from a victim. There was a case I worked on where her ex-boyfriend tried to stab her to death, and she survived miraculously. And
did she stick with Paul, like, or was like after that? Did she like?
She testified against Paul. She did the composite. She did the whole thing. Yeah. But she showed up to court every single day and sat there, like sat with the, the guy who tried to kill her.
Jeez.
Like, 18 feet away. Like just sat there every day watching the court, which is just, I mean, astonishing. I don't know if I could do. We were all just blown away by this woman.
Yeah, what a brave woman. Yeah.
She did the whole thing. Yeah, super brave. And the only reason I was aware of this is I had done a really elaborate visual aid for use describing her injuries for the jury to watch. And I wanted to go in there to see, especially when I spend a lot of time on an exhibit, like I'll go in there and watch to see just how it looks like projected up on a screen, and how, you know, and how the jury responds to it, and, you know, like just you know, gets like that. You learn a lot of things by seeing it in life. Like it's like, oh, next time I'm going to do that font bigger, or I'm not going to use that color or whatever. Anyway, so I was in there, and so I met this woman, and the prosecutor introduced me to her and said, like, this is Gary Hodges, and he does this and this, and then he did this aspect of the case. When the case was over and there was a guilty verdict, she gave me a handwritten thank you note.
That's awesome.
And it was just like the most amazing. Like I was just totally speechless.
That is amazing.
It's still like the highlight of the 8 years I've been there. The highlight of.
You get Paul is disgusted by that story. Look at him.
Paul is appalled. Yeah, Paul
He's
is
like, give me a break.
He's appalled. Did you just make that joke? I love that, Gary.
He's appalled.
He's appalled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really disgusted that I helped put away another murderer.
I couldn't. When he turned around, he went, "Don't kill me! Oh, you're like,
no! I don't want to be stabbed." Yeah,
just a little scratch was all. God.
So we got Frank and Anna in the chats. Anna asked, "What would your advice be for someone who's going into creative project management and art direction?" I would say, like, the two are different. If you're going into project management, you need to be incredible at multitasking. And there's a lot of people who think they're good at multitasking and they're terrible at it. And like everyone I've ever worked with thinks they're great at multitasking. I've sat across from people in interviews who swear it. And then you watch their workflow and you're like, no, you need to stop, like, and focus on one task and then switch to the next task, because like this split focus thing is just causing all your tasks to not happen. Good project managers, you're gonna, like, a good project manager is a person who, like, is juggling a million plates and they drop one maybe once a year. That's a good project manager. So project management, get really good at multitasking and dealing with human beings. Like, get really kind, deal with rough customers, and learn how to de-escalate situations. That's a good thing for a project manager.
I would say project managers also, like, they definitely, like, they have to become little politicians.
Yes.
They really, because that's a perfect, even more so than being a supervisor or manager like we've been. A project manager has to deal with so many competing interests, so many competing factions. One department wants this, the other department says, no, that's going to screw up our whole thing. And, like, to try to find compromises in all that, it's a nightmare. Like, I would not want that job.
You know,
and any supervisor worth their salt, if you find a good project manager, you're going to defend and promote and do whatever you can to kind of retain that person, because they become a very, like, big glue of the team kind of figure. With art direction, there's a couple things. One is, like, you really need to be intelligent in your approach, because art direction is not just artists. You're navigating between two worlds. You're being like a bridge between sales and marketing and a creative department. And along with being that bridge, you need to be, like, business intelligent. Like, you need business intelligence, and you need you just really need to learn how to navigate, like, two different worlds, and getting really good at, like, understanding business needs and being able to think, like, more objectively. That's the hardest thing I'd say about art direction, is you can't be subjective. You can't just think about your team, because if you do that, you create win-lose situations and you won't last at your job. If you want to be like the head of a department that's successful, I would say you'd have to like think about creating win-win situations with other departments so that everybody's coming out ahead. That's the ideal. That'll never fully be that way. Get really good at conflict resolution, and also get really good at diving into conflict. That's a huge thing too. You can't be conflict avoidant and be an effective supervisor or art director. If you avoid conflict, you'll lose your team.
I would add like that. I agree, but also you're going to have to start to master, and this is hard. Sort of being like the so-called happy warrior. Like you can't get emotionally invested in this stuff.
Yes.
Like you need to be able to say what you want. You need to be able to say you disagree. You need to be able to tell people that that's not going to happen in a way that's totally and hear like, no, we're not doing that. No, you're wrong. No, whatever, without feeling like the adrenaline dump. You have to just be polite and easy to work with and friendly while also sticking to your guns. And that's a very a lot of people can't pull that off. I've met a lot of people in those positions who are monsters because you don't want to deal with them because it's like fighting with your significant other. Like it's too much.
And actually, so that's a really good thing to bring up too, because the type of conflict tools you need to develop are very similar to like relationship discussions. Just you're having that with complete strangers and coworkers, where you're having to get into these very tough to talk about issues because you are supervising people, and when you work with people for years, sometimes people like lose someone, like lose a loved one, and they're going through sincere conflict, and they're working with like maybe HR and other people like going through this insane issue, and you have to learn, how do I manage this person? How do I get them to be productive and effective, or get them to like acknowledge like their need to maybe take a break with it, like, and do that in a way that doesn't defy like California law, right? Like, so you need to be aware of like your legal limits. You need to also like really learn how to trust people. And that's a huge thing for like art direction too, is like you really have to trust your team. And then the biggest, best piece of advice I got when I got into it, I have a friend who has managed for like over like 15 years now. He's been a director for like a big education company. And I when I was going into it, I was like, much like when I first taught like college, nobody going into like teaching college knows how to teach college. And quite often, like when you're adjuncting, they just kind of throw you in it. And you're like, well, is there any like, okay, now I just start and I just draft like a curriculum. Okay, should I know anything? Like, so you reach out and talk to every teacher you know and go like, what should I know? Like, can I look at your curriculum? Can I see like what it looks like? What are your assignments like? That kind of stuff. It's the same thing. I had a freak out. I was like, I've never art directed before. I reached out to him and he said, you need to defend your team like a madman. You need to be like loyal and defend your team. And he said, and also just celebrate the small wins because they're few and far between, but they're what'll get you through. And of course, like a new manager, I was like, small wins, I'm changing the world. And then I was like, about a year in, when I was having those like, you know, early management crisis moments where you're like, do I know what I got into? Like nothing's going to change. Like all the demoralization that happens before you learn how to navigate and compromise and work. And even when you're doing changes to like approach things politically and intelligently, it's a hard thing to learn. But once I did that, I was like, okay, I get what he was saying. But
so when you were first a manager, they didn't teach you like the rules of Crom?
The rules of what?
I love that.
Go ahead, Josh. What are they?
Oh, I'm not going to be able to recite them. And I did a book on barbarians. What is best in life? That? Are you talking about
this? Oh, Crom, like Conan? Okay.
Yeah. What is best in life?
I can't remember off the top
Brush
of my head.
your
enemies,
aspirins,
and hear the lamentation of
Lamentations of their women.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
which is really good management advice. Did you
Yeah.
have to take? Did either of you, when you became managers, have to take any kind of a training for dealing with difficult personalities? Anything like that?
Yeah, leadership training classes are really great. There's like these companies that usually get hired out by HR that will send you off site, and they'll do these really crazy leadership training courses that, like, if you're like me and you are kind of cynical, you'll like start off and be like, yeah, whatever, and then like the next thing you know, you're doing like weird yoga exercises with a team of people, and you're like, I'm learning about myself and about others, and I'm going to be such a good manager. It's you learn
Like
a lot of-
Bohemian Grove, that type of stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You
I mean,
kiss
once
the
you
statue and you know.
yeah, once you've like pledged your allegiance to Moloch and stuff, it's like everything really starts opening up.
Yeah.
Of course.
Mhm.
I wish there had been more of that. What we had a lot of was like a lot of on basically personality types and what sort of things motivate different people. Like some people are basically money motivated, some people need recognition, some people to feel like they're part of a family, like what there's, and identifying those things so you know how to work those levers.
The love languages, that's a real thing, by the way.
Basically,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And for those that don't know what the love languages are, it's French, Spanish, Portuguese, and
Latin.
Mhm.
Biscuits.
yeah. No, love language is how different people value. For example, some people's love language is actions.
Yeah.
You know, you do something for somebody, and they're like, "This means everything." Other people's are words.
Yeah.
I think I fall in that category. So say
Personal
something nice.
time, like all that stuff.
Hurry, say something nice. Paul, say something nice about me. I don't know what the other love actions are.
I was going to say, I don't think any of us responded by speaking your love language.
No, you guys are love
Neither
haters.
do I.
Yes, thanks. But, I don't know what the other love languages are.
Not really.
If somebody out there knows them, type them in the chat. But
I like that though, and I do think even the personality stuff is really good. Like they have so many tools and tests for like even your management style. Like for yourself, it's really good to learn because like I didn't even realize until I did those assessments that like my approach to management is like very systematic. Like I'm a systematic leader. And that's a total, like, it's neat because once you kind of pin it down, you can read about your weaknesses, which is really good to be aware of. Because that would be another thing. And I think you guys would all agree with this. It's like the longer you're at a workplace, the more you're going to need to know your weaknesses and be able to kind of lean into them. And also just be like, totally like, oh my gosh, that's another really great piece of advice. If you ever read like How to Win Friends and Influence People, which every new manager should read, it's cliche for a reason.
Right now from the library.
That's
right now from the library, believe it or not.
Nice. It's great, but like my favorite part of it is he's talking about this game that he makes out of admitting wrong. And so I can't remember, but it's like a chapter where he talked about how it's better to actually just exaggerate your wrongs and like lean into it. And what you end up finding is when you do that, people will defend you who were attacking you. It's the weirdest thing that just kind of happens.
My weaknesses are actually my strengths.
Oh my goodness. I think that Scott gave me a
weakness. I'm too
Scott
strong
gave me
sometimes.
Scott gave me don't do the job interview weaknesses where you're like, man, I just work
I'm a
too hard.
perfectionist. I
work too hard.
I work too
Sometimes
hard.
I care too much and I try too hard.
There's times where I just make art that's so perfect that it hurts to look at because I see my reflection in it, and I don't look perfect, but my art does, and it's just like it's this weird identity crisis.
It bums out my teammates because they realize that they're shitty compared to me. And
I got a super chat, guys, and I have to read it from Scott Cirkland. I, Joshua Kemble, truly feel that Nickelback is the best band there ever was and ever will be. If I ever say anything to the contrary, I will be lying.
Wow.
I knew it, Scott. I knew it.
Yeah.
Scott, you're welcome on the show. And
That's pretty. I have to say that's pretty punk to
Yeah.
say that you like Nickelback.
yeah, I feel like that's a really hot take, Gary, and I've never heard it before. You should like trademark that take, so that anytime anyone else uses it, they'd have to pay you like a royalty.
Yeah.
I will say, Scott, thanks for the super chat, and for anyone out there, if you have a super chat that you want to send, like if there's something you want us to read, as long as it's not derogatory to other people. If it's derogatory to us, like we'll
Then Paul will read it.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, like so we do take super chats anyhow. But Scott, you're welcome to hop on. Also, Scott, you could just send me a message and say like, "Hey, dude, just say this," because we're friends. So I'll probably do it anyway. I do love Nickelback, though. Have you guys ever noticed just how brilliant and amazing they are? Ever since Jim made that case, I feel like I want to lean into that because it is pretty funny.
For those viewers that are not familiar with my Nickelback theory, I told Josh that Nickelback really the true punk rock, because Nickelback's the only group that's not cool to say you like them.
Yeah.
Whereas you can say like, oh, I love, Black Flag, or I love, I love the Germs, and everybody will be like, yeah, they're cool. When you go, I have Nickelback, they rock. They'll be like, all right, dude, chill.
Jim, I want to see you animate this. Like, you need to do like a scene that's a punk bar that's just like a hardcore, like underground. It's in Michigan. Everybody's wearing like MC5 t-shirts and just like looking really tough. And then this one guy comes in looking all tough, wearing a Nickelback t-shirt.
How much do you want to bet? And I bet you would agree that the members of Nickelback are probably really nice guys.
I wouldn't agree.
Nice. Well, they might be a little salty now that they're the butt of every joke. But.
Yeah, because I was gonna say there's like, from what I recall, because I am among the many millions that disliked Nickelback, and I remember, to my pleasure, I found out that like there's a lot of very broadly told stories about the lead singer kind of being a dick. So I was like, oh, that's great, because I really hate this band. So like, if the guy's a dick, that makes it even better.
Like, is he
kind of like Creed? When I found out that the Creed lead singer was bad, I was just like, oh man, it's perfect.
Yeah, I had more. I never have known how to pronounce that word. Is it Schadenfreude? What is the German word when you're taking pleasure in someone else's suffering?
I think that's Schadenfreude, but
Schadenfreude. Yeah. With Creed, I definitely experienced that.
Oh my goodness,
you guys are just trapped in your own prisons.
There it is.
Speaking
Josh,
of,
I never knew you were such a big Nickelback fan. I mean, I'm not a hater or anything, but
I just had to say it. It's this strange thing comes over me anytime I get a super chat. I say things I don't mean sometimes.
I'm glad you've come out of the closet and just admitted.
But you do mean it.
Yeah,
you said, Josh, that if you ever say anything to the contrary, then you will be lying. So.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Oh my gosh! Something else is coming over me, and I have to say it. Happy birthday to Anna and Captain Goggles rules.
Anna, when's your birthday? When's your birthday? Mine is technically in Arizona. It'll be in another hour, maybe.
Oh wow! Happy birthday to Scott too.
Happy birthday, Scott! It's your birthday.
Yours the 18th. Mine's the 19th. So I just.
My birthday's coming up too.
When is it, Jim?
September.
Okay, so Ronnie sent me a meme. Do you guys want to hear it? It's regarding Nickelback.
Different group, Josh.
Totally different.
All right. So, what concert costs 45 cents?
Oh, what?
50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
Wow.
Thank you, Ronnie. That was met with the exact response that I like jokes to be met with. Like when Jim tells jokes, he gets laughter. My angle is like a dead silent room and just an audible like, oh man.
We just had that talk. So sometimes when people are very well respected and they tell a joke, people don't know that they're joking, and they just take that for granted that it's real. Whereas when people tell jokes all the time and then you say something serious, they go at first, and then they go, "Oh, you're serious," And I go, "Yes, this building is on fire. Now get out." So, but
see, yeah, there you go.
It's true.
All right. Hey, can we throw one more music
Wait,
question?
Jim, are you saying that like are you suggesting that like sometimes when you're a clown, it can be hard for people to see the tears of a clown?
Wow.
Is that
I'm saying, isn't it grand? I don't know the rest of that song.
I don't either. I only know there's like a Tears of a Clown song.
That's
Smokey Robinson.
I was singing.
Yeah, Smokey Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also, oh my gosh, there's a special song too. I think that's Tears of the Clown as well.
I thought you were doing a Pagliacci thing. Isn't that the opera about the? I don't know.
I would say we knew Gary, but none of us are as pretentious as you. Oh snap! I'm just kidding.
I win. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I win. I win.
No, I wish I knew more about opera. I was just joking.
I don't, look, full disclosure, the only reason I know that is from a Seinfeld episode. So.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, well, I would also imagine like you're in a relationship with somebody who's in symphonies.
A musician, yeah.
And so I would imagine your breadth of knowledge probably expands from that.
There is a little bit of osmosis, yeah, for sure.
Do you have musical taste that like a really trained musician like that can't stand, that you just kind of will play all the time?
That's
like
a
Nickelback?
good question. I'd have to ask her. I think we're pretty compatible when it comes to like pop music, like non-classical music. It's funny though. I think one of my favorite bands is Radiohead.
Oh yeah.
She kind of rolls her eyes at it only because it was funny. We were early on in dating, and she's like, "Well, what kind of music are you into?" And I was like, "Well, I really like Radiohead." And she's like, "Ugh, if I ever wanted to like get a guy interested in me in college, all I had to do was say that I like Radiohead." Like that was, like just the default way to get a college guy interested. But no, I don't know. I don't think I've played anything where she's like, "I can't believe you listen to that."
Look at his hair.
Yeah, well, that's good. If she ever does that, like, I don't know, I would almost find like maybe this is my personality, but I'd be the person who'd like put that on constant play then.
Yeah.
Radiohead, dude. Have I told you, Gary, about like my anti-Kid A thing for like 3 years?
Anti-Kid A?
Yeah, like this is back when Kid A came out when I was still gigging with like a band. And every band we played with was like, this is like the most brilliant album that's come out in like the last decade. And my friend who's in the band with me and I decided we're never going to listen to this album because it's going to drive everybody in the indie scene
out of spite
nuts.
That's like me not watching Rick and Morty. I still haven't seen an episode of Rick and Morty because I'm just tired of hearing about it.
I haven't either. So I went like 3 years where people would be like, "Dude, Kid A," because I love Radiohead. Every album, OK Computer's a masterpiece, all of that, and we'd get into it, talk about Radiohead, and then they'd be like, "Well, what about Kid A?" And we'd just be like, "I don't know. Is that an album? Did that come out?" And it just drove people nuts. 3 years later, I listened to it and was like, I've been an idiot. I've made a huge mistake. Like
that is the classic, like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest albums of all time.
Which is actually the title of my favorite Radiohead song too, Gary.
Drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. It sounds like it could be. Or at least a lyric.
That was like the lost track before How to Disappear Completely, right?
Yes.
You have to drink the poison first.
I think it's a B-side.
Have you guys ever avoided something that later on you were like, why did I avoid this? This was brilliant.
Yes.
Wordle. I'm avoiding Wordle right now.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, I'm avoiding. I feel like that's one that if I stopped spite avoiding it, I'd just be like, yeah, it was good. I was avoiding.
Well, see, musically, for me, it was Tears for Fears, and this is back in the 80s.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah, when they were first came on the scene, they're really popular, and I was like, no, I don't like, because I didn't like the single "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" really.
Yeah.
And then my brother came back from, I think he went to Europe or something. He brought a bunch of albums. They sold it here, but he bought a bunch of albums, and one of them was songs from The Big Chair, and I put it on just to hear like how bad this is, and I listened to it, and I was like, okay, I don't like it. I don't, but I do.
No.
Yeah, and now I loved it. Like it became the summer of Tears for Fears for me. But that, I think that, and I don't know what else. There's probably been a couple of TV shows like that too.
Yeah, like Breaking Bad was kind of that for me, where it was just another thing I was tired of hearing about it, and it was something about the concept. I just felt like I wouldn't be interested in that at all. And then I finally sat down and watched the first episode, and totally was hooked from the very first episode, and then sat and just burned through the entire series. Loved it. Loved every episode.
Yeah, that's honestly, that show is one of those ones that was so highly rated, and then you watch it and you're like, yeah, I mean this
is great. Yeah,
it is like.
I also haven't fallen on the Rick and Morty train yet, so I watched a little bit of it, but I was like, it was okay. It was okay, but I'm not. Yeah. Wasn't crazy about it.
I need to check it out because almost everyone I know who I respect has been like, dude, you have to check this out. But then I don't know if it's it might be the contrarian in me that's just like, meh, there's other stuff, I don't know.
I think I'm spite avoiding a smartphone.
A smartphone? Really? Still?
No, not still. I did
the internet.
I hung on to my flip phone for a long time. Just I was smartphoneless way late into it. But.
Yeah, I did that with Facebook too.
I'm spite avoiding the quick and the dead. So there's just too much talk talk about it. I'm just
everybody's talking about how great it is.
Enough already.
Is that the Sharon Stone movie?
Sharon Stone, and what was that? Sam Raimi who directed that? It had a Raimi vibe.
I remember somebody got shot and there was like a hole in their chest. You could like see the sunrise through the hole in their chest. That was awesome.
Speaking of ridiculous westerns, how does everyone fall on? Is it the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it wasn't an anthology.
Yes,
I remember at least
like it's a 2-hour thing. It's like little 15 or 20-minute parts.
Really? Right?
I would love to hear your guys's impressions.
Is that starring that goofy looking dude that was in that George Clooney movie?
The what?
The movie with George Clooney, the guys that were.
No, that's Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, same guy was in it.
He was in it. Yeah.
Ballad of Buster.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah. The same guy, the little guy.
Can I make a real quick network apology?
All right, go for
an
it.
Official apology.
Wait. Hold on a second. Let me put on a soundtrack.
Okay.
While you do the apology. I hope this is okay. Here we go, Jim. I'm gonna cue you up.
I'll read it. Earlier this evening, while trying to make a joke and be clever, I accidentally said the quick and the dead, where I meant to say was the irreverent young and the dead, a la Scott Circlin creation. I'm sorry for those that I hurt, and I'm sorry for those that I caused pain.
So you didn't hurt.
Please accept my sincere apology and deep regrets. Yours truly, James Michael Lujan.
So
Thank you
All
for
right.
your heartfelt regrets.
You guys,
uncancel him.
I didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't really buy that apology. I think we just need to hashtag cancel Jim Lujan.
Yeah.
It's on now. I think we need to start a Twitter campaign.
Yeah.
We need to be furious about this. It's just unforgivable, Jim. And the apology, oh my goodness. I think the way you should have apologized would be, I'm sorry that other people were offended by what I said and their interpretation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way.
I'm sorry that you're sorry.
Should have just said it was locker room talk. It was just locker room talk.
Oh, that's true. That goes over very well.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Hashtag Jim not sorry.
You can't say anything nowadays.
Yeah, that's right. You can't make jokes anymore.
Oh, sure. Scott can say the young and the dead. He could throw that word around, but I can't.
Actually, sometimes I can't say that. That's what got me. That's what we got on my Facebook, my Kickstarter, like banned from Facebook.
Are you
Oh my
serious?
goodness.
Yeah, it was the day I was launching my last Kickstarter, and in the previous Kickstarter, I heavily used Facebook to market it and everything, and their algorithm or whatever determined that the terms "young" and "the dead" was harmful to children. So they wouldn't post my post, my promotion. And if anyone knows anything about Kickstarter, that first day is like crucial. So it just totally screwed up my.
You should have changed it to the young and the maimed. That would have been better.
The young and the what?
So that's terrible.
Yeah.
And also Facebook, thank you very much for taking away my television show Jim TV, where I would play music videos. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Took it away. Oh,
They took it away. Well, they didn't take they took the Facebook watch party away, which was the only really good thing about Facebook. They completely took it away.
Those were really fun. It's like Jim was just like, I think every Friday night you were doing like crazy DJ sessions.
Right now, I would be there right now.
I love it.
That's why I'm here. Okay. But yeah, I would play all kinds of music from the 80s and the 70s, 60s. But
have you thought about like doing like live stream Jim Lujan DJ parties? You wouldn't be able to monetize them, but
wouldn't shut it down for me playing videos or whatever. I'll do it, but I don't know any. I don't. It seems like every time you play copywritten material, it just gets shut down. You know.
I feel like Jim, you have enough of your own material where you could just do DJ sessions. For that whole thing.
I was going to respond to Ronnie's comment about the StreamYard having free public domain. You must not have watched the last episode of Artcasters.
We've been milking that for all it's worth.
Oh, is that where the German the techno was from?
Yeah,
100%.
Oh,
yeah.
I want to hear the German techno. Can I get shut down for playing my own music? By the way, if it's on Spotify.
I don't think so, but I've heard of that happening. Like, but are you like sole owner? You're not like a producer or a label or anything, right?
No, it's under my name. But
then yeah, you probably won't be a problem. I've heard of people playing their own music and then their label takes it off or whatever.
Yeah, but I like it. This beat is very
Yeah, very good beat. I feel like the beat it expresses my soul in like a trance rhythm,
Yes. It sounds like every game I
play. It would look like we're moving like Sims.
Yeah. Well, thanks to everybody in the chats for bearing with us during our dance party. Something just comes out. The beast comes out. The pleasure beast in all of us when we hear.
I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's suddenly like all of my videos start monetizing through Jim, and I'm like, what happened? You're like, you said pleasure beast.
So right. I have by the way, Frank said that my apology I needed eye drops down my cheek. So
Oh, I have a question for Frank, and then I want to hear Jim too. But Frank was mentioning Anna's birthday. Is that actually today? Is today actually Anna's birthday? Because I feel like if it is, we should do like an everybody say happy birthday, Anna. But if not, then we should just shun Frank forever. No, I'm just kidding. But Frank, is it actually Anna's birthday? Let us know.
I'm
okay,
actually
Jim.
down for shunning him forever, regardless.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Although Frank's a really good mod, and actually, Frank, I can give you a link if you want to join us. So yeah. Anyhow, go ahead. Oh, I derailed it, didn't I, Jim? I thought Jim was on. You were on a train, and I think I derailed you.
So I started drawing. I would like to talk about craft work.
Oh, Kraftwerk.
Kraftwerk. I saw the Kraftwerk 3D concert. I saw it at where did we see Hollywood Bowl? I am not kidding you. It was probably one of the top 5 concerts I've ever been to, and it was in 3D. It was amazing. It was so good.
That's awesome. How did you guys get there? Did you have to drive on the Autobahn, or?
Come on, man. Everything's not a joke, Josh. I was sharing my soul and heart with you, and you just
yeah. That was a moment. And
trying to have a moment.
That sounds cool, though. They had like lights and stuff, or like
yeah.
was it kind of like a
they gave
laser?
These glasses out to you, and when the concert started, I thought, like, what 3D? Like, what does that even mean in a concert? Are they going to look like they're farther back into it? And then when the music started, syncopated to the music, these images popped out right in front of your face like this, and they would go exactly like that, for an hour. And no, but it was syncopated to the song. Like they did a song called Numbers, and it was 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. But when they were doing that, 2, 3, 3 would come up like right in front of your face. It looked like it was floating. It was insane. It felt like the entire audience probably felt like they were on acid or something, and only half of them were. But it was one of the best shows I've ever been to. But I like Kraftwerk, so that's me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of Kraftwerk in Swizzle Stick Army.
There's a lot of Kraftwerk in Swizzle Stick Army. So yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of theirs. But that leads me to this question, guys, and members of the audience. What is your favorite concert? Tell me a little bit about it and why.
Oh, that's a good question.
Paul? Oh my God, Paul's dead.
We have to do it. Okay.
Paul Pate is dead. And I think
no.
at the moment we have to take a moment of silence.
You guys, Gary has been tracking Paul Pate this entire time. We talked about this at the top. That Gary would be analyzing.
Paul's favorite concert was Nickelback and Creed. It was a double bill.
They finally caught up with him. They finally got Paul. We finally got him.
We got our man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's it.
What if Paul's in that room and then all of a sudden John Hanson or whatever that guy comes out? Hi, Paul, have a seat.
Yeah, what is the Catch Predators guy? It is something Hanson.
Chris Hansen. Hi, Paul, have a seat there, Paul.
I see
pizza, Paul. Paul, I'd like to read you a little note here that you wrote. Nickelback makes me hot and heavy.
What do you mean when you wrote that?
My wife and I went to see the concert Halloween. My buddy plays in a band. The name of the band was so we go to the concert. It's in a punk band. And we go to the concert and they got a big sign that says, oh crap, I can't think of the name of it. So
wait,
anyway,
you have a buddy in a Michigan punk band? That's awesome.
Yeah, well, the next day I'm telling somebody about it and I say the name of the band. What I didn't realize was the band that he had on the back of their wall behind their stage was an actual punk band. And it was like a tribute band.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, but I thought I was actually seeing the actual
that band.
I didn't know that was actually a, you know what I mean? It was like I
That's
went
awesome.
to
So
the
it's equivalent to being like,
tribute
you guys, the other
concert.
day I saw the Ramones, and
Yeah.
we're like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you did?
Yeah, it was at that level. I
You
mean,
sure?
the name of the band was
Yeah.
like anybody that knows punk knows, you know, it would be the Ramones or whatever.
It was
Gosh, I
crazy.
can't put the
Elvis
name
was at a
of it right now.
casino. And
Damn. I'll send him a note.
Nice.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I didn't know that they were a punk band.
That's a good
It
concert.
was really awesome.
story.
Though. We had a great time. That's where I got COVID, Nick.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I actually dodged out of a show tonight. I had tickets to see Cursive and Thursday, this is all like music that makes me very old, but it's like this is like early 2000s emo music. And then Appleseed Cast, and originally it was Jeremy Ennick from Sunny Day Real Estate, but then he canceled because of COVID. And I canceled because of Omicron, because I'm like, it's just starting to die down. And we got tickets like when it was looking like it would be kind of done by now, but it's not. So I unfortunately missed a Cursive show. And I've watched that band live since like 2000 or whatever.
It's really ironic because I saw Omicron at the Forum in '96.
I do feel like the COVID variations are inevitably going to be bands in the future, where people.
So a couple people have written
virus, man.
A couple of people have written their concerts in the chat. Like
nice.
Steve Harper wrote Kiss,
Nice.
and
Oh,
Crimson Owl.
1986. I might have went to that one.
Crimson Owl wrote Alice Cooper, and Frank Salazar wrote Chris Hansen. Frank, that wasn't a concert.
Right.
I want to tell you.
That's not the kind of performance we're talking about.
I love it. All right, we
It
are
wasn't a
actually
one-on-one concert. I'm just want to let you know.
we're actually joined by Frank, who can defend his Chris Hansen.
Oh no.
He's in a natural pose.
I like it.
Oh,
So,
hello, nerds.
all right, I love it.
Hey, there he is.
Welcome,
What's
Frank.
happening?
Hey, Wicklings.
The dude is
Drawing
ripped.
comics.
Frank, you're all swole.
Check out this.
Do I need to minimize my workspace and see what the hell Frank is doing? Do I need to?
This is Frank is just pumping iron.
Or is he-
But I was gonna say this is equivalent to like we were all playing D&D and just enjoying ourselves, and then Frank's like, "What's up, nerds?" And then
yeah,
it's like,
he's like the older brother upstairs.
oh, like,
Like,
oh,
"You're
hey,
being a nerd game.
hey, Frank, how's it going? So
It's going good.
I do think we should do Frank, real quick before we do a go around and talk about first concert stuff. Where can everybody find your stuff?
You can find me on Salazar Art Nation on YouTube and on Instagram. And if you search Etsy Salazar Nation Comics, you can get some pretty cool mini comics of Captain Goggles and Masked Woman. Half the proceeds go to Anna Robb, my co-partner. So you're supporting.
Anna, let us know in the chats. Is Frank telling the truth there?
Yeah.
And what was your first concert you went to?
Let's see. It was probably in like a school concert, but first one I think it was like a church concert actually.
Oh, the church? They're great. They're
Some
really
local Christian. They're my favorite band.
good. Under the Milky
The
Way.
church.
That's a damn good song.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, just like church bands. I don't think I've ever been to an actual.
How many of the
actual concerts?
Frank, have you ever been in a mosh pit in your life?
You know what? I've been to local punk rock bands, and I was asked to start a mosh pit. I was too chicken to do it, but I was in there.
Wise.
I was just
Very wise. I've
I went
definitely
to-
gotten to that age where, like, when I go to hardcore shows now, I'm the old dude in the back having a beer who knows more about music than anybody in the pit. But I'm like, I'm just like, I'm not getting in that pit.
Yeah.
I saw X at the Anaheim House of Blues, and there's a mosh pit. Like I was standing just where a mosh pit formed. Like there wasn't a mosh pit, and then it started forming around me, and I quickly got out of it. And there was this big dude behind me that was like, "No, you know," and and I was like, "Yes, I am." I had to do a very really good NFL running back move. I had to juke him several times, and I felt like such an idiot, like the only guy running out of a mosh pit for his life. I ain't getting in no mosh pit. I don't. Not even in the prime of my life would I ever get into a mosh pit. I don't like that.
There's also a difference because like an X mosh pit is not your like.
Yeah.
Like so I was mentioning Cursive, right? If you go see Cursive, it's like everybody gets really close and like yells, but it's like a hardcore show, so it's very like brotherly kind of stuff. Whereas like at X or like if you're at like an agnostic front show or something, it's like those are not friendly mosh pits. It's like it's the last place you want to get caught in. Yeah.
I would.
Man, what was your first?
I would probably get into a mosh pit maybe at the Spice Girls concert.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on.
There you're just punching 12-year-olds.
First that time I was in the mosh pit with the Spice Girls. That was
There we go. I had a dream like that one.
To me, the best part about coming out of the mosh pit is like you're
Mosh
just
pit.
drenched with sweat, and then you go outside, and if it's a cool night out, it's just like it feels good. Of course, you stink like hell, but
You
So
know,
does everybody else. So.
if that's the
Yeah.
best part of it.
Well, the worst part is the compound fracture.
Yeah. The like losing teeth part is not the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer because
$3,800 in dental work is probably the worst part.
I feel like it's kind of a shame that it turned into that. Like, there's a lot of stuff like Ian MacKay talked about that with like hardcore punk, like where they had this friend who was like following them around to shows, and he'd take these really exaggerated photographs of like the pits, and people would just iterate from that, like, oh, that's what punk shows are like. And they just thought it was like this violent thing, not realizing everybody was just kind of huddled together, like moving to the music, maybe putting their arms around each other and being like, yeah. And so he started playing shows. Like part of why Minor Threat even broke up was that, because they just got really sick of playing these shows where people were just brutally beating the crap out of each other. And this is coming from a guy who was like best friends with Henry Rollins, who's like famous for getting in fistfights with audience members. Like it's just kind of weird. So Jim, your first concert experience, you go.
My first concert experience was.
And I should say first memorable concert experience, right?
It was very memorable.
Not just first.
It was amazing. So my uncle Ray. So my dad was a fireman, LA fireman. There's a bunch of LA firemen in my family. And my uncle Ray was a captain, and he I don't know if it was during this time or right before it. He somehow got to be one of the fire inspectors, one of the top fire inspectors at Dodger Stadium. And this is in 1980. I want to say 1984, might be 83. I was a little kid, a little itty bitty baby kid. And the first concert I got to go to, like 7th or 8th row center, was the Jacksons with Michael Jackson on like Thriller, that era of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and at that concert we
The
saw
Victory Tour.
Prince walk right by us. He was because we got the VIP, the whole bit,
Get out
and
of here.
we got to see Prince
That
and
was the
some other.
Victory Tour.
It was like, and for a kid's first concert, that set the bar really high.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say it'd be like you're just kind of chasing that concert for the rest of your
chasing that
life.
dragon. So
Was that the Victory Tour? Remember that?
so yeah, I spent the weekend at Michael Jackson's house. And
Neverland Ranch.
no, but that was an amazing concert. And it was at the height of Michael Jackson. And for like looking back, I was so lucky. Like how fortunate of a kid. There's people that their whole lives never even get to see Michael Jackson.
I didn't.
Like my wife. My wife never seen it. But yeah, that was my first concert I ever went to. It was the Jacksons at Dodger Stadium, the Victory
Nice.
Tour.
All right, so Frank, you never really, I don't know if you did answer this in the chats. Is it actually Anna's birthday?
I did. It was Thursday, so it's her belated birthday. I just couldn't put belated in the thing because I was running out of characters. So.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Anna.
Yes, she just had her birthday.
Oh, hey,
Well, you want to sing?
her first concert in chat.
Yeah, what's hers?
Anna Raub.
Oh yeah, Anna. What is your first concert?
Well, she attended a VR rave.
VR concert.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty crazy. I will say, growing up in the Antelope Valley in high school, I definitely went to some actual raves because out here there's like all these giant warehouses that are like out in the middle of the desert that people love using for. At the time, would love like renting out and doing terribly horrible raves at, which were fun, really responsible places to go as like an 18-year-old. So, Paul, what about you? What was your first concert experience?
I lost my virginity at the Bill Gaither Trio concert. Actually, my parents took me to the Bill Gaither Trio. See, and they're like a Christian band. It was just like I was watching Lawrence Welk or something. It was horrible. But then first concert that I went to that I wanted to go to was a New Edition concert. And they were actually pretty awesome. So.
That's right.
Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
And Bobby Brown was supposed to be there. Albie Sure was there, and Bobby Brown was supposed to be there. And Bobby Brown missed it. It was his birthday, and he got like wasted. Didn't show up.
Speaking of birthdays, I think we should sing to Anna because she's demanding it in the chats.
Happy birthday, dear Anna.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
This is some way off.
Happy birthday to Anna. And many more.
Wow.
There you go. We're professional singers.
There we go.
She really, really is regretting.
I'll say for anybody out there,
There we go.
we take super chat tips for our
We take
beautiful
super
singing.
chats.
Actually, we also take super chat tips to stop our beautiful singing. That's what I should do to kind of get super chats. We'll just do our acapella.
If you want us to stop singing, super chat.
It's like a hostage situation. Okay, so
That'd be-
Paul,
so
that's
If you want this to end, you will pay us.
so
All
Paul.
right, who's next in the concerts?
Gary's up. Gary, what first memorable concert?
Billie
This
Holiday.
one right now.
First memorable.
Well, back when I saw Billie Holiday.
Yeah, the first one I went to was, this dates me a little bit, but we're all similar ages here, so it's fine. Was In Excess. I went and saw
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it was awesome. I went with my high school girlfriend. We made out. It was, I think, the first time I'd ever made out. The concert was awesome. It was great. It was great. But
When was it? Oh, last year.
Yeah, it was 13 months ago. And then,
Last week.
Was it the Kick tour?
In Excess tribute band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Was it a casino? I think it was them. I don't know. Yeah.
This is Tuesday. Was it the Kick tour?
The what?
Kick. They had an album called Kick.
No, I think it was
Or before that or after that.
I'd have to look at the timeline. This would have been probably, if the year helps you dial it in, it would have been 91 probably.
Gary, I'm just saying if you admit the lie, that we're still going to be your friends.
I think it was 91. I remember it was
Gary, did she go to another school far away?
No. What's that?
Did she go to another school far away?
She's from Canada. She's a model. We dated all summer. She let me put my hand up her skirt and I don't know. I got a picture of her at home. I'll find it. I'll dig it. She's totally real.
After I
totally
cut
real person.
it out.
Gary, this is Cindy Crawford.
That was
Right.
Olivia Newton-John.
So here she is. Her name is Christy Brinkley. Christy.
Where
Brinkley.
was the NXS? Like what venue was it at?
It was Desert Sky Pavilion, and, which Scott might remember.
Yeah, I think it's probably still around. It's probably changed names.
They've changed the name, I'm sure. Yeah. But,
You guys see that? This is the punk band that I went to see, the Misfits.
Okay, so it was a Misfits cover band.
Yeah,
And
Usually cover bands don't call themselves the actual name of the band. Usually,
yeah,
it's
that's
one of their songs
misleading.
or something.
Yeah, no,
That is pretty funny though. Where you're like, man, my friend's in this band, the Misfits. And people are like,
Yeah, that's what I was, and I was like,
you're
"You guys
friends
are
with
right,
Danzig?
Danzig's
Like,
right."
yeah. I love it. All right. Scott, you're up. What was your first concert experience, dude?
My first concert, I believe it was Kiss. It might have been around the same time. Who was it? Was it Keith that mentioned that? Who mentioned that they saw?
He went 86.
86. Was that it was the Asylum tour. I'm trying to remember.
They weren't. He said they weren't wearing makeup.
No, they weren't when I saw them either. Yeah, and I've seen Kiss a number of times, but I've still never seen the original lineup, which bums me out.
Oh, I did.
Without makeup? I
God.
didn't even know that was the thing.
Yeah,
I did see them in '99 at the Forum. I got to see the original lineup. That's the only Kiss concert I've ever been to.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was incredible. It was great.
Okay.
Was that Psycho Circus thing, or was that previous to that?
No, I think it was their reunion tour.
Yeah, reunion, and then they did one album after that. Which
I didn't. No, not the Psycho Circus, just the reunion tour. Because as everyone knows, I'm a huge Peter Criss fan, right?
Yeah,
Everyone knows
me too. He was always my favorite.
Yeah.
So that's rad. Did they do all the onstage antics? Like, was there fire breathing occurring?
Yeah. I mean, it was 80s, so it was very glammy, you know.
Okay. Was this like
bright
wait,
colors, day glow colors?
Did you see them in the era of like makeup or like
I've
the
seen them
strange
with their
no makeup
since,
era?
like recently. I've seen them recently, but the first concert I went to and saw them, they had their makeup off.
Oh, what a
And
bummer!
So they were like, it was like Lick It Up around that time, right?
It was 2 albums after that.
So Gene Simmons, Blue Fire, all glammed out, like lip gloss.
Yeah. Well, because they like Animalized, they had that song "Heaven's on Fire," "You Would Blow Fire." They still did all that stuff. It just wasn't. I don't know if he spit the blood though. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense with but I'm pretty sure maybe he didn't spit fire, but there was fire somewhere. I don't know.
That's awesome. So my first concert was like legit concert was Tom Petty Wildflowers tour.
Oh, man.
What?
That's recently. Isn't
That's
it?
not that long ago.
Or no?
It wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was like 94 or 93.
That was your first concert?
Cool.
First big concert. Like I went to local shows and like local punk shows and stuff, but that was the first like big arena concert.
Wow.
And around that same time, it was like REM Monster.
Yeah.
And they were like around almost the exact. I think Monster was later though, but Tom Petty was also one of my introductions to weed, like as a young man. And of course, I don't do that anymore. But at the time, I remember being at
Or
the
any
concert
less.
and just this smoke just wafting through. But yeah, that was an excellent show. And a good album. That was like probably the last like really solid Petty album in my opinion. So yeah,
That was a petty joke.
I didn't even hear
That was
it.
petty.
It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah.
So
So that
Josh
was
ignored
that was
me.
a good
I am
experience.
out of here.
I didn't hear you, Frank. I didn't hear you. What was it? What was your bit? Phil?
You said
You
do
said
weed
you don't
anymore,
smoke
and you was like,
anymore,
"Or any less."
and I said, or any less.
I like it. Okay.
Rah.
Because jokes are always best when you tell them again. They're always
Yeah. Now I
That's
get
true. Now
Yes.
I'm playing. Yeah,
When
we're
you have to
catering to the
explain them.
audience here. Yes.
okay. Maybe we could each go around and talk about a crime that we got away with, like a really illegal crime that the police are still investigating.
That's true. Let's start with let's just
Well, I was never a
hypothetically.
suspect.
Yeah, so let's just hypothetically start with, like,
If-
say, Paul. You know, like Paul.
Yeah,
if there were
Paul.
just, you know, I mean, just as we're doing this go around, we set our concerts, all of that.
Like,
This has nothing to do with.
hypothetically,
Yeah,
if-
hypothetically.
If you're in a hotel room,
Hypothetically, if anyone disappeared, hypothetically,
Yeah.
you might find them in the river, or you might not.
Yeah, like did you like hypothetically would you bury them or would you burn the body?
Dumpster.
Yeah, like,
Dumpster.
like hypothetically, if you did commit this crime, like, where would we find the body? Just hypothetically, you know, so that it would
Yeah,
be proven. I just, you know, I was just throwing these out there.
Like, what's a
Wild.
great
And if I
place
write a
to
book
hide
called
body
What
that
If-
nobody's ever thought of, like just throw it out there, like, you know what, you know, like, if you
like
really want to hide a body.
hypodermically, where would the needle be?
Anna said Gary is still watching you guys.
Yeah,
He's going to
that's
catch
right.
you all. That's right.
That's right.
Ronnie also said he has to get going. He said it's almost 2 a.m. here. Hope you all have a good night. Have a good night as
Bye,
well.
Ronnie.
Good to see you, Ronnie.
Bye, Ronnie.
Helped me out with some reference photos today. So
Awesome.
Thank you, Ronnie, for allowing me to be the first Artcast member to be in your comic. Take that, Gary.
Oh, snap.
I think Frank is fronting a little bit.
You guys, shots fired. Shots.
That's how I
Shots
heard.
fired.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just replying to Gary's last up here.
That's right. I made a big stink about being like on his show before Jim. I made a big deal about it.
Yeah, yeah. How did you feel about that, Jim?
You know, it's really not about the competition. It's about us lifting up each other
Oh.
and really celebrating what makes us each special and different.
Mhm.
And Gary sucks.
I now feel tiny, Jim.
As a
I
counterpoint
apologize.
to what Jim just said,
Hold on.
I think that's a load of horse shit.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, did you guys get that Mr. Rogers message I sent you guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was lovely.
Yeah.
I thought that was really lovely, by the way.
It was lovely.
I
I
did.
really like Mr. Rogers.
I said
Actually,
thank
I
you.
think he's.
I'm
incredible.
sorry, can I interrupt? Squatchy, how would you know? You're not seeing what I'm doing. How would you know if I'm working or not? You need to simmer
Squatch.
down.
Squatch, you got to back up the stream because we addressed it at the top. We even called you out. We were like, Gary, I was like, Gary, what are you working on? And he's like, oh, I'm working on Dinosaurs versus Marsbots. And I was
I'm
like,
making
all
a
right,
page.
take that, Squatch.
I'm making a page. Not only have I, like he says here, I haven't seen him work all this whole time. I've been working this entire time,
Yeah.
except when I reminisced about In Excess and making out with my high school girlfriend. So,
Hey, can I ask a selfish
Canada.
question to Mr.
from
Circlet?
Canada, the model from Canada.
I think you should
Yes.
ask
What?
selfish questions all the
Come on.
time. I
All right, I have a
thought-
very self-serving question I'm going to ask Scott. Scott, is it true that through your website there are some free iPad Procreate brushes? Is this a true fact?
That
Oh.
is true.
How would one go about to
See,
obtain?
this is where
Very cool.
it's coming from someone other than Frank. Usually Frank's the one that's pimping my stuff.
Yeah, I was like doing
true.
I think
Yeah.
you said Procreate.
You're
so as far
stepping
as
on my
Procreate-
toes, Jim.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Are you going to take that, Frank? I'm trying to create
Wow.
internet drama, guys.
I'll let Scott answer this, and then I'll ask a question.
All
right,
right.
all
So as far as if it's Procreate specific, I think there's Procreate brushes in the Hero Design Studio, and what those are they're templates they're actually brushes where you can build different characters and to make templates with, and they may have actually have some Procreate brushes that you draw with in there too, and also in the comic lettering masterclass. I think there's one that's just for Procreate. There's two separate ones. There's one for Procreate and then there's one for Adobe, and that's got different Procreate brushes and all kinds of cool stuff.
Is anybody aware of any Zipatone brushes? Are there any Zipatone brushes?
That's on my list. I'm kind of working on something like that, but they're I think there's probably some out there. Yeah, I wouldn't
mind checking out some of those.
That would be cool. I second that.
Yeah, I know. I definitely am working on one of those.
Oh, I wanted to ask a self-serving question of Gary, actually. I noticed that you picked a crazy outfit, and I think this might actually make for an interesting around the table kind of question. But it's like Gary's doing this insane. I don't know if you can share the panel that you put on like Instagram or whatever. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, I could, or that I shared in the chat. You mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see if we can share it somehow. But anyhow,
Yeah, let me do a cleaner copy. Can I put it in the private chat? Can we attach images in the private chat? How does that
if you go to, do you have like a button that says share like at the bottom of the?
I do.
Okay, so if you hit that and then you have it go to like, if you have it open, you can select it to share. Just
Gary,
make sure you don't share your desktop because
if you hit the share button, you can turn back time.
Turn back time. If I could find a way.
You could find a way. You're fucking
I would do that. Let me close the page I'm working on. Close on my point tab and then open that page.
You guys, we got a donation for our incredible acapella singing. I'm going to pretend that was for my share. I don't think that was for the happy birthday. I think that was for me doing shares if I could turn back time. I'll continue. If I could find my way here. Okay.
Wait, are you doing Eddie Vedder?
Check this out, Anna.
If I could turn, I can't really do it great. I can do believe better. You know, do you believe?
You believe in love?
Yeah, and then you got to auto tune it. So yeah, thank you guys for the donations because now I'm probably demonetized for life.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So okay, so question regarding this brilliant panel that Gary created. He's set himself a trap doing sequential work where you have a character that has a crazy complicated plaid jacket, and now you are screwed for every subsequent panel.
Yeah, now I have to draw it like 150 more times. I'm screen capping it right now so I can share it because
Gary's wearing a crazy, complicated plaid jacket as we speak.
I have sort of a penchant for the plaid.
I did that in the Three People Broadless Slasher comic where I made the slashing guy wear this plaid and I had to like draw lines and squares in every panel. I was like, oh.
Well, to quote our favorite band, Creed, it's because you created your own prison.
That's true. That's true.
I did. It's true.
Yeah.
Are we going to see this?
I will say, for pure comedy, like Creed music videos are like, I feel like I could watch a Luhan cartoon and I get a lot of laughs, but like a Creed music video is it's unmatchable. I kind of feel like you need a Creed like singer as a character, Jim, in one of your where it's like every shot is just like him doing like Jesus poses and stuff.
Are you guys able to see that?
Not yet.
Okay, hang on. I just have to add it. Okay.
There we go. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Ouch. No way.
Nice.
Why did you do that?
The pattern.
So this is
that a
where
main
Jack
character?
is pacing and like you're just seeing this is like the
Nice.
this is before you get to really get a full new shot of her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of
Okay.
this is an example of what I was talking about early on where working digitally you can trial and error this a lot faster than if you were working traditionally. Traditionally, like it's like, well, how am I going to draw that? You know, and
Yeah.
So that's really good, Gary.
What's that?
I said that's really good.
Oh,
So Gary, lazy and smart Jim would have just taken that first panel and just flipped it.
And
but I know you didn't. You probably redrew it.
Right.
Now you see the folds and everything were different.
Yeah, and so I think so. This is the thing, and I think I said this when I shared it with the guys. It is a nightmare. I'm going to stop sharing now. It is a nightmare to draw, but I think it's worth it for a couple. I think, like, first of all, it's fun to look at, you know, and especially if you're limiting yourself to stark black and white. I think you need to look at like some of those there needs to be some textures. I'm not trying to do like a Sin City thing. I'm trying to actually make it look like a real world, just rendered in black and white. And I think sometimes like your options are either like, are you going to do black coats or white coats? Like that's not going to work. Like you think you need to do some patterns and things. I think it'll be fun to look at. I think it'll make the pages look richer.
Yeah.
And it'll allow me to flex a little bit. But in the meantime, yeah, it's a nightmare. And I'm dying. At one point in the comic, she takes the coat off. And boy, I'm going to be excited to get
that. For reasons other than the excitement of your first concert attendance.
That's right.
Right.
That's to me, I thought that was interesting because I've actually had the exact same conundrum, and it was only for a sequence of like 3 or 4 pages, 2 stories, where I decided to do a plaid shirt on a character, and then I was like, "Oh, great! Now I have to do the plaid every time."
Yeah, I can tell you. I can look right now at my thumbs. That coat will appear.
Let me take
in about 99 panels.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done it about 4.5 times now.
Yeah,
just 95 more to go. No problem.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what Gary didn't say is that once she takes off her jacket, she's all tatted up, so he gets to draw that.
That's right.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Yeah.
So it brought up, like, to me, an interesting topic of like what was the most like kind of complicated, because Gary, you're seasoned at doing sequential work now, so you're probably a little more prepped for that challenge than you would have been like book 1, you know? Like,
yeah, I would not have done this to myself. Look, it was very lucky that the first comic was Men in Black.
Yeah,
like guys in black suits with white shirts. Like that was in a black car, you know? Like, I mean, it was way easier if you're doing a black and white comic. The last one was a little bit more complicated. Like my main character had blonde, messy hair, and I had to draw that every time. That was a little bit of a nightmare, black and white. This one, I'm definitely like every time. I can say with every book so far, I'm happy with how it turned out. But at the same time, you see things that you want to push harder next time.
What is 2551?
And I just felt like it's come to a point where, because I am a little bit more confident, I've done 2 books now, I'm ready to start challenging myself with the drawing.
Okay.
So this is one example of it in this comic where it's like, well, I'm going to make her outfit sort of interesting, and I'm going to really work on environmental details. And when you do finally get to the dinosaur stuff, I think people will be impressed with that. So.
Yeah. So like what, like Scott, like what was the first like most challenging kind of? Because I think that is something that's unique to like sequential work, is like often when you're coming up with character designs or costume designs, especially first comic, you may not be thinking about like the rotational like use. And I'm sure we've all been hit by that, like where you come up with a complex character design and now you have the reality of having to redraw it. Scott, like what was the first like big challenge sequentially, like costume wise, that you set up for yourself where you were like, oh, wait, oh, wow, now I have to draw this 10 times or 20 times or 99 times?
Well, much like Gary's comic that takes place in the 70s, the first comic I started on, well, not the first, but as like, I don't know, the actual kind of halfway decent book I started on when I was sort of an adult was Retrofits, which I never finished. So I didn't have to go through all those panel, draw it 100 times, but same thing with the 70s clothes, a lot of plaid, like, you know, crazy collars. Collars sometimes are hard to figure out how they work, you know. But a lot of that stuff. And then later on, I designed like superhero costumes for them later on that they would wear, but they didn't wear it in like the first issue I was working on. But so yeah, it was. And then one of the characters had like a Charlie's Angels like iron-on T-shirt. And nowadays, now you can take that thing digitally and you can kind of skew it and just fit it on a shirt. But that wasn't as easy to do back then, so I kind of redrew that each time. But yeah, that was probably that. And then paint like one character. I think think I had a character that had like paisley stuff, or no, it was tie dye, like tie dye. That was difficult to do too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. What about you, Frank? Was it you kind of mentioned it before? Was it the tree one, or like what was the first really crazy character design where you're like, oh man, now I have to redraw this a bunch. I'm a terrible writer to myself.
Yeah, because I was going for it's like a space lumberjack, so like, oh, it has to be plaid, and I was like drawing each. And I was trying to do my own design, but I was like each line and squares, and like, oh man, this is so horrible. Why did I do this? But also, when drawing the Captain Gauss and Masked Woman, Masked Woman has a pretty cool design, but I'm very bad at going back and checking the reference sheet. So I would like redraw her pauldrons a little bit differently, and then I tried to remember how do I do this, and so it's just trying to remember to draw it, and then doing like thankfully we changed Anna changed the design a bit, so it's a little bit easier, so I don't have to like try to crack my head and go through like different reference sheets. But
Yeah,
stuff
that's always
with details, stuff with like little details I have to make sure, and I do that with Anki because okay, so I have to make sure it's obvious that he's a robot, so I have to like put little shines, and so you can see that he's metallic.
nice. Yeah, I feel like even like just like having a character holding something in like their left hand, I've definitely had that time multiple times, like especially early in sequential art, where I have a character like holding a prop, and then I'd like draw the next, and suddenly the prop moved, and I wouldn't notice till I looked at like my thumbnails again, and I'm like, oh man, like now I have to like reframe everything, because like even the angle of the shot didn't allow for the character to be holding the thing in the same hand. That kind of stuff, like I don't know, it's that unthought about stuff. What about you, Jim? I noticed that the lights went out. Yeah.
Nobody's home.
Be careful, man, because I hear there are Paul Pates in the area.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Speaking of ghosts, I have to ask, what's that in Scott in the back room right there? I see a light. I think it's floating.
I think
I know, right?
What, back there and outside?
Yeah, right above the
in
window.
your room.
There's a light over at the Frankenstein place.
That's a good
There's
question.
a light.
It's just my neighbor's porch light.
Okay.
Dr. Frankenstein
Sorry.
working late at the labs again.
So regarding the question, it's funny. I have a friend named Paul Pate, really nice guy. He and I had this conversation earlier today, didn't we, Paul, about redrawing characters. Paul, when in his animations, for every scene, he redraws a character for every shot. Every scene doesn't read. Whereas ever since I did a film called Freak Daddy, which was years ago, I learned a method where I would do, for example, a front shot, and then like a 3/4 shot or a back shot of a character, and just kind of reuse that and repurpose it. And sometimes I would even just take the head of a character and then redraw the body several times to animate it, but do as little redrawing as I can. Backgrounds, usually I redraw those quite a bit, but that allows me to not, like with the plaid pattern that Gary did, I could do that with a character and only have to draw it like maybe twice and just keep reusing it. Which is good in one way, but the conversation that we were having was, and I actually would like to get your opinions on this. When you have to draw a character that you've designed front on, when you have to draw a profile of them, how do you match it to make it look like them? That's an issue that's
hard.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to teach like turnarounds like to college students and stuff. It was one of my assignments was like because it was like illustration classes, and I wanted them to learn how to do a technical turnaround that could actually be transferred into a 3D object. So like, almost like they were making a toy design for a like injection molded toy. And the reason I'd specify injection molded is like, even the pose has to be really carefully plotted out, because if it's an injection mold and you have to be able to pull that mold apart, the character can't be in a like super funky position to where it'll like rip off their arm when you pull the mold open. And so when you're doing like a really technical turnaround, like it's like having to do what the steps I'd have to do for a turnaround in general, assuming I don't have like photo reference or whatever, which is you just have to draw a ton of lines. Like you need a ton of through lines to get it accurate. Like, so, let me see if I can like.
But that's just my style. Okay.
But it's like, so if you have like your face or whatever, then you'd have to like, if you wanted to do a side view, you literally would draw through lines for like the top of the nose, the bottom of the nose, the top of the eye, the bottom of the eye, like the arc of the mouth, the bottom of the mouth. And you do that for everything. And then you do your side view, right? And again, like then you can like more accurately get those details.
Oh, I like that. I actually have never seen that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean that's
okay.
I'm surprised. I don't know.
Is there a file, Josh, where we can look at this? Because I have trouble like drawing the turnarounds as well, where they match, and it's actually not an argument. It's a conversation I've had with Anna recently, where like I asked her for turnarounds because I need that visual reference, even if it's character that I've drawn. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's just the big trick is like look for all the key points on the face. I think everybody would probably recommend the same thing, but like including like, and you start with a technical turnaround first, and then you can use that as reference anytime. That also is great because if you do that with the guidelines, a 3/4 view is not as impossible as it seems. But it's really just every marking, especially on a face, because that's probably where you're struggling with a turnaround would be the face. Every marker, like every part of a human face is like a map. So you want to look for key areas like I forget what this is called, but like what is that called, Gary? You'd actually know the term. Your temple, right?
Which part?
Your temple, like this line?
Yeah, that'd be your temple.
Yeah, and then you're gonna look at like the arc of your nose. You want to look at the triangular part of your nose. It's like that section that's on a skull, where like right here, where my fingers are, like the top. It's like right at the bridge, I guess, of your nose. Like it's where the bone meets the cartilage. You want to like that's a marker line. All those key lines where like an important thing is happening on the face, you make that a through line. And it's really easy to do digitally because you can actually do that. Like if you're sketching in like Photoshop, you can just drag guidelines in all those areas. And then you have like a really perfect.
So when we were talking about it earlier, Jim and I, what I use is onion skinning in Flash because I draw in Flash. And so I use the onion skinning tool.
But doesn't that smell after a while, Paul?
Yeah,
I know I have to throw away the onion skins because I start crying. A lot of tears.
I have no idea what onion skinning is, so you have to
I don't
know
either.
that.
It's an animation.
Sure. Frank, only if you use 4 of them.
Oh, okay. Where can I get a template of a turnaround? Does anyone know where I can get something like that, either digital or in physical form?
It's a shame nobody's made that. Purchasing.
Looks like you got that on Amazon.
Can I show you guys? I don't know who else. I can't talk about this on my YouTube channel because it's too narrow and stupid. I want to show you how diseased I am.
I thought you were going to say because I don't want to get demonetized, but
no. Okay, you see.
I'll demonetize Josh, but not my channel.
So here's Jenny from '97. Okay.
Okay.
Jenny has
Can I get her number?
No, you can't get her number. She has chipped nail polish.
Mhm.
Okay. The way I would draw that is I would draw her nails and then I would put in like a dark kind of central area to show that it's chipped around the edges. So I've never worn nail polish. I don't know how nail polish chips. I drew about half this book with Jenny with it reversed because my thought was if your nails were going to chip, it would probably chip on the high areas. Like you'd be bumping it on the high areas and the edges would stay dark.
Oh,
But it
that's
was
an
the
interesting.
reverse.
You didn't have sisters, did you?
I didn't have sisters.
Okay.
I had drawn half the goddamn book before my girlfriend looked at it and she was like, what's going on with her nails? And I explained, thinking I was very clever. It's like, see, it's chipped. See, she's like, she painted her nails a while ago, but she hasn't really kept up on them. And she's like, no, that's not how nail polish chips. And I had to go back through like 25 pages and redraw fingernail because I couldn't stand that. I couldn't stand that was out there. You know, like I didn't like that idea that like, no, now I got to fix this. So yeah, 25 pages of fixing Jenny's nails.
It's better than breaking up, Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
right. You could have just dumped her.
yeah, that was one of the possibilities. How do I deal with this situation?
And I
Tell her
said,
to
you know
get
what?
out.
Chip? You and I are chipped. That's what's chipped.
Yeah, let me tell you what's chipped. It's my patience with you.
I got you chipped right here.
I actually
Anna
really
says,
like.
time to start wearing nail polish, Gary.
Yeah, see, if I'd been wearing nail polish, I would have known what chipped nail polish looks like.
Yeah, that is a crazy. It's interesting though, and that is a huge advantage of working digitally too. Is like
Wearing
to go
nail
back
polish.
in. Yeah.
So I want to.
I will say this.
What skinning is.
Yeah, explain it.
Okay, so you have
and obviously like the art version of it because I've definitely skinned an onion, but you know like.
So you have like a front version of
You
the
take a
character,
knife.
right?
Yeah.
And you got in the next frame, you got a side version, right? So you want to draw the three-quarter version. So what you do is you take the frame,
Okay.
you create a frame right between them, and then you turn on onion skinning. And what it does is the frame in front and the frame in back, it makes it much lighter and like transparent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
So now I can see, where everything was and just draw right over top of it.
Dude,
So
that's 100% a brilliant way to do it. Like with transparency, and it's pretty much functioning in the same way as doing those guides without having to draw them.
Yeah,
because you're
But
basically.
the great thing is like if you have the front view and then you have the side view, and say now you want to do the three-quarter view, you take like the tip of the nose and put it right between the two noses.
Yep.
And draw some guidelines: the chin, shoulders, the hands.
That's brilliant.
Just put it like halfway, and then when you get ready to do like the 1/8 turn, just do it again do the betweens, do in betweens.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I came up with
Dude,
those.
That ties into a big piece of advice I'd give people, especially if you're doing like professional character designs. Like you want to start with a 3/4 view. Don't go with like the dead-on shot or the side view. Start with the 3/4 view. You're going to get more information about that character with their head turned 3/4 that you're conveying to yourself. It's easier to go from a 3/4 view to a side view or a front view than it is to go 3/4 from just like a side profile. I will say for like a good solid silhouette of a character, it is good to have like a straight side view. But in general, if you're like, I would just say people dodge 3/4 views all the time with art, and it bugs the hell out of me. I think Gary might be in the same camp as me because I notice he uses a lot of 3/4 views too.
I do.
But I feel like, to dodge the 3/4 view can work in some styles, but I really do think you're missing out on like a lot of really important data. Like if I'm ever drawing from life, I try really hard to position myself in like if we were in a life drawing class, to me the key area I want to be to draw the model, especially their face, is 3/4, like 3/4 front. I don't want like that side view, or even if I'm drawing like from behind somebody, I would want to see 3/4 of the back of their head. It just gives you so much more information. Totally rambling. I'm sorry.
You're calling me out, Josh. I feel attacked.
Shots fired, Frank. Are you going to take that? You got to bring up the well, like if you felt like that was a shot fired, you got to grab the weights and just be like, really, Josh? You want to talk about that?
You need a shot fired sound effect.
I do.
Speaking of
Wait a
firing
minute.
shots.
Wait a minute.
it needs to be a shot and like a ricochet, like a very
I-
like easy movie. Like
I think I have a shot fired. Are you guys ready?
yeah, let's hear it.
All right.
Okay, let's see here. It's gonna be a shot fired.
Amazon.com.
Are you guys ready for the shot?
Yes. Bring it on.
It's dance shots fired.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's right. I have to be careful though. I have to be careful though, because the last time we were doing art casters, I guess when I do the German dance impression, it's very loud, and I guess it woke up a couple people in the house.
You're upsetting people you're living with.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm
Your
like, I have
neighbors?
to kind of temper my German.
They came outside and they're like, now we have to dance.
Exactly. It was an all-night dance party.
Why do you do
What's
this to us, Joshua?
Why must you torture us with dance moves?
Why
We
must
all
you
have
torture
to
us with these delicious beats, Joshua?
Listen up, nerds. You fire the shots, I answer the call.
Oh snap!
Check out my muscles.
Wow.
That is true, you guys. Those guns are rent free, gonna live in your heads.
I'm
You
glad
might get
you're
demonetized by these
my
guns,
artboard and not
Josh.
seeing whatever's happening.
I am now going into a road rage.
My goodness, Jimmy just said I was sweating for a second and found 3/4 views on my mini comic. Oh, I thought you were sweating out of fear from like Frank's just physical prowess.
I was like,
and
wow.
strength.
I gotta tone it down.
Sweating from the music.
Yeah, that's true. The music too. It's that.
So
that
into the
definitely can
oldies.
Sweating to the oldies. I think those were amazing videos. I remember an era where like everyone's mom had like those videos. Those what was his name?
Yeah.
The
Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
And Josh, it's almost like these live streams are almost like kind of random. A little bit. I'm starting to feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There is a
But
lot
let's
of
talk about
random.
unicycles.
Pro or con? Yay or nay?
Well,
all right, you guys.
if
This
you're
isn't a
playing a
debate
ukulele
format.
on a unicycle.
Okay, the debate is unicycles versus what? What was the second?
Versus jugglers.
Ukuleles.
Versus jugglers.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're gonna start. The format here is everybody has 30 seconds to state their position, and then we'll have a free round of debate between the two. And I'll be the moderator. So, Scott,
All right.
Position on
unicycles.
what? What did I miss?
Unicycles versus jugglers. This is a
versus.
heated debate. You guys, we're now in the debate space. We're in the YouTube debate sphere. You
This
guys
is
are all
serious,
debate
guys.
bros.
The debate
So
room.
Unicycles
the
versus
debate
jugglers.
casters.
You have 30 seconds to make your case. Go.
I prefer universal. I prefer jugglers on unicycles, but if I had to choose one or the other,
Wow.
I'm going to go with unicycles. I met this one guy who was like a unicyclist, and he was like he would do like the stuff you would do on a like a mountain bike on a unicycle. Go out in the desert and do all this stuff on a unicycle. It's crazy, and I was pretty impressed by that. So I'm going to choose unicycle.
All right. Well done. Stayed within the 30 seconds. Gary, what do you say to that?
The clock is ticking, Gary.
Look, I think clearly we can all agree as members of a civilized society that jugglers are superior. And it's mostly because it's a well-known fact that all people on unicycles are racist. There, I'm done. I give the rest of my time back.
Wow. Clocking in with 10 seconds left. All right, Frank, how do you respond to this? We have unicycles. We have jugglers. We have both. What's your take on this, Frank?
unicyclists are ultimately superior to jugglers. I don't care who says what, because you can lift weights on unicycles. Can you lift weights while juggling?
Can you juggle a unicycle?
I am done.
Ooh, man, this is getting profound, like layers deep. All right, Jim, you're up on this crazy debate panel.
Okay, well, as an American taxpayer, I don't think that someone can just walk up to me in a supermarket and hand me their balls and say, "Hey, guy, why don't you juggle for me?" You know what? Maybe I don't want to juggle, and maybe I don't want my child juggling in school either. So I don't want a unicycle or a juggler on a unicycle. How about that?
Wow.
Well said, sir. And you kept within the 30 seconds. All right, Paul, you're up. Jugglers versus unicycles.
Clearly, the advantage goes to the unicycler who can get a very tall unicycle and be on higher ground in a battle with jugglers. And so I support unicycles.
That's a hot take, and now it is time for the unicycle battle with jugglers.
I might have to rethink my. It kind of depends on what the juggler's juggling. If he's juggling chainsaws, then
Anna just said that too.
Easily take out the
He's
unicycle.
juggling a career and a family.
What if he's
juggling life, Scott?
Unicycles. What about that?
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
What if he's on a unicycle and he's a juggalo? Have you guys thought about that?
What if he's a juggalo? That's a
What is a gigolo?
Juggling jello on a unicycle with a unibrow. Where's my mic? I'm gonna drop
I don't
it.
know. I was gonna say, can anyone top that point? Because it sounds like we're gonna have to do conclusions at this point. Because this debate that was a mic drop.
I feel mom's spaghetti.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
My goodness, Jim Lujan is channeling a powerful MC.
My name is not Jim Lujan. My name is Jim and M.
Jim Shady.
Jim Shady.
Or Jim and
The
M.
real Jim Shady, please stand up.
Yeah, please stand up.
Well, Jim definitely took his one shot, so that was great. All right, so conclusions.
You can't make me take my one shot, Josh, if I don't want to get this one shot, okay?
That's true. That is true, you guys. Well, that was fun. I like the debate
That was
format.
good. You're a very good, masterful debater.
Yeah, I try to master that.
You had to really be careful saying that, didn't you? You had to really.
We're this close to getting demonetized. So
yeah.
That's true. It's true. The second Jim and M gets brought in, it gets very demonetized territory.
Yes.
All right, so
Anna called me out. She said you can juggle with chainsaws, you can juggle weights.
That is true. We didn't even bring in the component of what if you're juggling unicycles, you know?
Yeah.
Or if you're juggling weights. Yep. Keeps going back to weights.
Yeah. This has been a profound thing. So
yeah, it's left me with a lot to think about.
Yeah, I want people in the chats, please let me know who you feel won the debate here.
Can somebody teach me how to draw a desert, please? Not a dessert, a desert, please. Do you have any tips for drawing a desert?
First you draw a square. Oh, the desert, dessert. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna start, and what you want to do is draw kind of like a mound. That's brown.
What I do.
And maybe it's flat on the bottom, but it's kind of like a more of a arched mound at the top. And then it'll have kind of sprinkles on the top that are kind of like chocolate shavings.
Are we talking like Sahara Desert, or are we talking like
how about somewhere like California high desert?
High desert.
I don't know how to do that. I'm out.
Yeah, I could just go outside in the morning and take a lot of reference photos for you, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. You can just take a video.
So I like when I think of desert, I think like a lot of flat. Actually, if you want really good reference for deserts, check out George Harriman, like Crazy Cat. Like I think those are like some of the best desert landscapes. Although that's like Mesa Verde, right? So more.
I just realized that 4 out of 6 art casters live in desert areas.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's true. We do live in deserted areas. So wait, desert.
I eat a lot of
Not
desserts. Does that count?
That does.
So I'm drawing a desert right now, and I'm making up rocks, and I just feel like I'm being not truthful to the real.
Well, there's a lot of like creosote bushes, like little like scrub brush, like all over.
That's true. You can't forget the
What about
tumbleweeds?
Tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweeds, yeah.
I feel like I'm creating my own prison.
That's true. Yeah.
I animated some tumbleweeds in that Western I did, actually, Jim.
Mm.
That was
That's true. I remember that.
The costumes.
That was really cool.
The costumes thing. I don't really have an example of getting into roped into a plaid costume or anything like that. But I did one of the animation films that I made. You know how like Bill Plimpton does that shimmering kind of animation where he draws like every picture he draws 2 or 3 times. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, kind of wiggles. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to make
Background, middle
like
ground,
that.
foreground.
Man, that is a lot of work. So
We'll share a little story right here, Paul. So Paul was when we played Revengeance in, where was it, Paul? Iowa?
Iowa. Yeah.
At what University of Iowa?
Yeah.
Paul just happened to be in the same town when I was there with Bill Plimpton, or we think he happened to be there at the same time. What the story is. But
Wait, Jim, is that the place in Iowa that all those murders happened?
you know what? Yeah, and they kind of stopped after that. It was really weird. But we tried to get. Paul brought his. I didn't have an iPad at the time. Paul had an iPad, and they were kind of new. And
hypothetically,
Bill to draw on an iPad. Do you remember that, Paul?
Yeah, he wouldn't do it.
He would not. It was like a vampire and garlic.
Yeah.
It would not touch the iPad. He's like, no, and we're like, and so we killed him.
What was
happened.
cool to me about that was going to the comic book store, and the guy behind the counter recognized Bill Plimpton. And so he just gave me the comics that I didn't have to pay for them. He just gave them to me.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing about like celebrities is like I feel like I had a friend explain this to me when he got really kind of wealthy, where he got like pretty wealthy and suddenly the place that he was working for like drives him to his work. And he's like, this is like the one time where I'm like finally like wealthy enough to where I don't have to drive myself to work and stuff. That's a good thing. Joshua trees are good. Depending, you got to be careful with
Jim,
that.
Anna has some tips for you. Jim, Anna has some tips for you on drawing deserts.
Yeah, because Joshua trees are only in like 2 areas of
middle ground, foreground.
Okay. Also, Joshua trees are very into hardcore punk and beards.
That's true. Well, also they're apparently like very fond of Irish protest singers from the 80s.
I was in the desert and I was talking to my friend, and this Joshua tree.
And the horse with no name.
It kept interrupting me, and I was like,
"Yeah."
Wait a second. Okay, sorry, Jim. That was hilarious. That was good. But also, I gotta give mad respect to that Neil Young drop there. That was nice, Frank.
Yeah,
that was America, wasn't it? That wasn't Neil Young.
Neil Young wrote "I've been to the desert with."
Oh, did he write it?
Yeah,
but I know it was America that sung it.
Did he really?
Yeah,
is that really true?
Yeah, it's one of those ones that everyone. I learned that recently too. That
A Horse with No Name is written by Neil Young.
I believe so. Let me look it up.
Really?
Okay.
That's amazing.
So, Jim, do you want to hear the tip from Anna? Or?
Yes. Thank you. Wait. Thank you, Squatch. Seriously, thank you.
She says background, middle ground, foreground, treat the sloping landscape like it's multiple giant warped spheres that overlap, and there are many kinds of deserts and biomes, and yes, study the geology, flora, and fauna of the landscape type, says Anna Rob.
All right, you
Subscribe.
guys, hang on.
Okay, that was America. I was wrong, and I had
Yeah.
thought that was Neil Young. That's
America.
my
Everyone did
idiocy.
okay.
There's a 19-year-old British kid named Dewey Bunnell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dewey Bunnell
He
is
wrote-
British? I thought
Neil
they
Young. I always get the two mixed up.
He sounds a lot like Neil Young in that song. So.
I assume they're American. If they're American.
Oh. Are the
Are the
Beatles
Amer-
actually Beatles?
They actually
no, because it's
are.
not spelled like the
Because
book.
here it was originally
right.
named the Desert Song.
Okay, that's true.
It was
Let me
originally
read
titled
this.
Desert Song.
America, a group from the 1970s, best known for refusing to wear masks in supermarkets. Oh,
Wait, no. That was America, right? I don't
and
know.
there's a
if that was
picture of
America.
Dewey, the writer of.
Do I have to wear my mask, or am I going to be banned?
There's a picture of the writer of a horse with no name. It's right here.
Wow.
That's what the writer looks like.
He does wear glasses, but I don't think he wears goggles. The writer.
Yeah.
That's not what I thought he looked like.
Oh,
Strange.
There.
Yeah.
hold on.
Frank, wait a minute. Are you from America?
I am.
Oh my gosh. I knew it. Oh, I love the evil mustache twirling.
Yeah.
Have you
Which,
thought about like kind of going longer on the sides so that you can kind of twirl it in like
I'm gonna let it grow
Evil mustache
as far as I can. So if I can get a little longer, that would be great. Oh, and fun fact, we are now drawing Captain Goggles with a mustache. So I just made the changes to the Cory Curry comic, and it's gonna be in the Big Warp Anchor 7.
Frank, why don't you have
as
a
well.
character called Captain Mustache that wears goggles?
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Just to throw in a little
Sure.
twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. His arch enemy.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. He's our enemy.
His
They
nemesis.
were brothers when they were younger.
Yeah. And they went
Yeah.
two different paths.
I do feel like this is going to end up in that Captain Anarchy territory. Where
Captain
we're gonna-
Anarchy.
we're gonna
Yeah,
start
I don't
inventing
want to
new-
go there.
I think we should. I think we should go deep down that well. Okay. So we got Captain Mustache.
Well,
That's like
they
what?
will
That's
not
by the way,
appear in the Captain Goggles story, but
That
maybe in Captain.
Uh,
Goggles.
Oh,
That mustache actually was went into porn.
so
Big-
so that's how we tie in
Captain Big Stash.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we tie in Helmet Guy. That's where they met.
Oh, God.
Oh my
Gary,
goodness.
Gary,
Forgot about that.
you're gonna have to update the fan.
Do you want to
art
give
where-
Anna a rundown on this?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't. I tried to explain to her, and it just came out like I'm a lunatic.
a rundown on what?
Don't
On
be a
our
dick.
on our
Captain
new, on our
Anarchy.
new mythology? Oh my goodness.
Oh, do we really have to?
Yeah, that's true.
No, we don't. That's yeah.
I think we should invent an entirely new story whilst here on the stream, and then Jim Lujan should animate the entire thing. I think that's how it
On the
should.
stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now
On
as we
stream.
speak.
Live.
Captain Mustache goes to his first concert. Here we go.
I like mustache
Okay.
concerts. I'll be right back.
With, Freddie
It's gone
Mercury.
over 2 hours, so I
Sure.
gotta take like a quick second break. If anybody needs to get water or anything like that, feel free to go do that. And also,
right.
since we're at like
I'm
this
gonna take a
nice
break.
like kind of 2 hour mark, it's also a good time to drop where everybody can find your work, just in case new people are chiming in or coming in.
Apparently you can find some of my stuff here at this link that's been sitting up there. I don't know who put that up there, but
Yeah,
thank you.
so
Yeah, you can get my books, and I think there's some other stuff up there. That's on my Amazon shop. So yeah, check that out.
Nice.
A lot of books on making comics and everything. So, when I come back, I might have to gripe about some negative reviews on some of those books from people who don't read the descriptions and that say exactly
Really?
what it is, and then they complain because it's something different than what it says it is in the description.
People, I had to check the reviews. So, like, people have complained.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's see. I don't know if on the. Oh yeah, somebody complained about the lettering guides, which is essentially like it's essentially like a lined notebook, but they're formatted smaller for practicing your lettering, and there's some tips in the beginning.
Yeah,
but,
which I was looking for mine here.
Yeah. So anyway, and then I did another one.
Complain about that type of stuff, really.
Yeah.
Why would somebody take their effort and time to complain about that?
To complain about.
And I'm sorry that I did it.
What were they complaining that like it didn't have letters or?
They expected it to be, I guess, more of a how-to or something. There's some how-to stuff in the beginning, but it's just for practicing. It's like if you were a calligrapher, it's lined pages, but they're formatted at the size of like an Ames lettering guide. So, but I don't know.
Wouldn't it be great if you could just get on there and respond how you really want to respond?
Yeah, and you can. That's the problem. And then and the thing that I haven't got any of these yet, but the thing that really sucks, and Amazon should do something about this because it's ridiculous. But if somebody can complain about like the paper stock or something like that, and Amazon gives you one choice, but it affects your rating. It doesn't affect Amazon, even though they give you one choice of paper stock, and then if somebody complains about it, they still keep the negative review up there, which is ridiculous.
They're like, the quality of this book is terrible, and you're like, it's Amazon, it's not me. Anna said she kind of understands the Captain Anarchy through line, and then she also said you all are basically crazy. And then also mentioned that some reviewers are wild in context to what we're talking about right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've gotten to me, like the best negative reviews are ones like that though, where it's like clearly they just didn't understand it. The worst are ones where they're dead on, and you're like I just recently read a Goodreads review of Jacob's from like the pre-release ones, and it was like kind of like dead on about some criticisms, and I was like, okay. I mean, they did read it, they did get it, and it didn't work for them, but it was more painful than like reading something that would just be like I remember a review of Numb years ago that just was like a personal assault, where they were like, this guy is clearly the kind of guy that blah blah blah, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it was just hilarious, it didn't hurt. It was just like, wow, this person has absolutely no life, So
I didn't know this book was for mature audiences. I thought that meant this was for many audiences, but not mature audiences.
Nice. And for many.
Thumbs down.
That's true. That is true. I would say if you accidentally as a parent gave 2 stories to your 4-year-old child or something,
I sent it to my kid for his birthday. I'm not allowed to see them for 5 months now.
Yeah, my son loves dinosaurs and Martians, and I have to say that Mr. Hodges' book was just horrifying for children. It's got.
I'm about to donate this to my local church. So thanks, Gary, for.
I took 2 stories to my church, and we read it in church. And let me tell you something right now. We were so upset that we almost didn't sacrifice the goat. We were very upset by that book.
We were having our regular church bonfire where we were burning Harry Potter, and we thought we were just gonna, and we were also banning mouse from schools, and we just thought that this was going to be a wholesome book that we could just read, but I guess it's just going to have to be added to that bonfire.
You should make nice books, Joshua, with, you can
like
have
Young and the Dead
characters.
What would be the reverse of this? It's like, I bought Young and the Dead expecting to see violence and death, and I was really disappointed. This book is clearly for all ages.
I hardly saw no young dead.
The zombies don't die at all.
I didn't see any blood
Or
in
they
that book.
Doctor Who.
I don't buy horror to see no blood.
Young and the Dead. If I want to see that, I'll just go to my basement.
Wait a minute. Is Young and the Dead, Scott, is Young and the Dead like a QAnon book?
And we got demonetized.
Harvesting organs.
Yes. End of show.
Demonetized out of life.
Oh man. Okay.
You did that to yourself that time.
I know. I did, and it was worth every moment.
Well, good thing you got some super chats.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that. We appreciate super chats and are always happy to take more super chats. I'm just like I'm angling for more because I'm crazy. Why not?
I love it when there's a joke like that you just made, and then I like when Corey gets like frozen sometimes when you do that.
That's true. That is true. To be honest, I'm also like a very debatey type of person. And I always feel bad because Corey is just like an incredibly, he's a wonderful human being. But there's definitely been times where I've been like getting into it and Corey's like super quiet. I'm like, oh man, I feel bad now. And I feel like Scott just kind of sits back and is like,
fight my pretties.
What's really happening, though, I want everyone to know this. What's really happening when we're streaming and that's happening is Scott is like typing behind the scenes, like, Josh, say this. You should do. No, I'm just kidding.
No, did you hear what Corey said, Josh? Hey, Corey, did you hear what Josh said about you?
It's like, Corey, are you going to take that? That's what's happening behind the scenes.
In Scott's candor, when you're doing that, he's hearing, you show us everything you got. And I'll do it. That's a Kiss song.
Yes.
I am excited about the meetup, though. I wish Scott could come too.
Wait, what is the meetup?
Is that my mini comic? The second issue?
We're doing like a vacay thing, like next weekend.
Are you gonna do like a live? You should do a live stream from like in person.
We will probably try to arrange that. I'm imagining Corey might have a setup where that could be possible there and won't be like as bad as like our phones, but I'm sure you'll probably, if you're following like Jim or me on Instagram, I'm guessing you'll probably see some stuff appear. Anna said Josh is the mastermind. The whole live stream is all scripted by Scott.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be crazy if like there was really just like a screenwriter behind this whole thing? They're just like, we're going to write an art hangout.
Speaking of the meetup, you can get this mini comic called The Meetup on Etsy.
Oh, that's true.
Wouldn't it be great if Frank was actually AI created by Anna?
Are we gonna go down this rabbit hole again?
Well, I was going to say there was this period of time, Gary can chime in on this, but it's like we were kind of curious what happened to Frank for a little bit there. He just sort of disappeared. And then we noticed that like, Anna was appearing without Frank.
About that is that I am not a robot at all.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys
headroom.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys notice that glitch?
What glitch?
Glitch in the sim.
Oh my gosh. It is true, Frank. So so that was a thing though. I don't know, Gary, did I recap that well? I feel like I missed some details.
Let's see.
I think we even created a hashtag, didn't we? Where we said something
I think Gary, you might be on mute.
Yes. Am I muted? Did Gary mute me?
I think Gary was talking. He was muted.
I think Anna, are you messing with Gary's audio? Like, is there information you don't want being shared on the stream?
Cannot reveal this.
Can't hear you, Gary.
Oh my gosh, Gary's been silenced.
That way
he's toying with
streams.
I think that Gary's been
You might have
silenced.
to like exit and come back in or something.
No, don't do it, Gary. Don't do it.
You guys, you can't silence Gary, okay? He's revealing heavy things in Dinosaurs versus Mars Bots. You can't silence him.
Oh, there you go.
Can silence the Hodges.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
That's weird. Something looked out. Anyway, yeah, no, the original Frank died, and then they replaced him just like Paul McCartney. That's basically what happened. That's the short.
Yeah, that's a
can't,
very
you can't prove that.
Well, I mean, no. But how do you know anything? I mean,
That's
come
true.
on.
It's true, you guys.
That's
The
true.
other day, I heard.
How do you know who your daddy is? Because your mama told you so. Like, yeah, I mean, come on.
That's true. And Gary worked, and he's heard that in court.
Gary's just,
as an
I'm a
argument.
ventriloquist, and Gary's just dummy.
That's pretty good. Wow.
Paul is the real mastermind.
So Gary, in a courtroom, when they say, Mrs. Witherspoon, can you point out the perpetrator, and they point, if the person they're pointing at, if they go like that,
Yeah.
does it not count?
It doesn't work. Yeah, it's totally an effective defense if you just start slipping around it.
Yeah, and she's going like that.
Yeah.
Dodging
And
the
like
defense.
let the record show she's pointing everywhere. She's
Yeah.
clearly irrational.
We're gonna convene for the day. You're gonna come back tomorrow. We'll continue the pointing.
Is it helpful in court to wear really light or tan suits? That are matching.
In court.
What?
Well, just really flashy light suits. Like if I went,
Called the
if I
fashion
were
proof.
to,
Matlock? Like Ben
yeah, if I
Matlock?
were to represent myself in court and wear a nice white Southern suit.
Yeah, like
would
an
that-
old school. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
may
that- I
not
think that
be
jury would be
one of
very
these fancy lawyers, but
I'll have to tell you, that's not the real Frank. That's not the real. I buried Frank.
There's a reason why Frank isn't wearing shoes on his latest album cover.
Yep.
If you
How
play
to see the sign?
if you play the Tarako podcast backwards, you can get certain signals and clues.
Yeah.
Frank is
So
the
the
middle of
first-
the hill.
The first 20 Taracos, if you play them backwards, it's Frank saying, "Help me! I'm going to be murdered and replaced by a robot Frank."
Hey, wait, just 1 second. By the way, we're joking about this now, but wasn't there an ongoing joke about Frank being missing or something like that a while back?
That's what I was about. That he died.
There's a reason you forgot that we were mentioning that about 5 minutes ago. It's because Frank is right next to you, just brainwashing.
No, it's because Anna pressed the button.
Oh, Anna once again is pulling the strings.
Oh yeah, Tarako is loaded with subliminal message. Did Anna just comment something? I can't even tell. What were we
Yes.
talking about, you guys? I suddenly forgot everything we just said.
Speaking of old urban legends, back
Yeah.
when conspiracies were fun, like Paul McCartney being dead and replaced. Do you guys remember?
make conspiracies fun again.
Yeah, let's make conspiracies fun again. Do you remember the one? This was pre-DVD. DVD ruined this one. There was a story that if you looked real closely in a particular scene of Wizard of Oz,
Mm-hmm.
Oh
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
see that one of the angry Munchkin extras hangs himself in the background. And you can, if you look very closely, you can see him climbing up a ladder, up a tree, and rigging up his little thing. And then in the next scene, you see him hopping off the tree and rocking as he's hanged in the background. And you got to know exactly where to look.
Can't play for murder.
What did it turn out to be?
A bird.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a bird.
Once you got the DVD version, you could tell. But in the VHS version, it was very compelling.
But on the Blu-ray, you can tell it's a bird hanging themselves.
Yes, that
But
was
on the laser disc,
this bird committed suicide on the set of Wizard of Oz. Yeah,
I will tell you guys, one of the best of those, behind the scenes kind of shots that's actually real is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys might have seen this, but have you seen the Back to the Future 3 kid?
No, are you talking about?
what?
Oh, the one where he's pointing at his.
Yeah,
Teen
he's
Wolf.
just,
Isn't that
he's
Teen
just
Wolf?
going boom.
Yeah.
He just points.
There's a kid that he had to go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah, I mean, he probably had to use the restroom, but it definitely looks like he's just like, check this out. Like,
Yeah, he's pointing right
Yeah.
to his crotch, and he's like, I mean, he's in the frame. He's
Wait,
like,
I thought that was a Teen Wolf one where the guy like flashed the camera.
Yeah, there was
That's
definitely
also-
something in Teen Wolf.
yeah, there's something in Teen Wolf as well. Yeah.
Interesting.
Something about
Same-
Michael J. Fox.
I didn't know
Yeah.
about the Back to the Future.
Maybe just
Yeah,
that's
it's-
something Michael J. Fox just brings out in people, you know?
The Back to the Future one's very
People just have
findable
to go
on
to the
YouTube.
restroom.
It's at the end when Doc Brown and his family are on their like time travel train, and his kids come out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your guys'
Yeah,
thoughts
yeah,
of the
yeah.
third Back to the Future movie? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
Very disappointed that it's only one genre. I thought they were going to go back like in several times, like to dinosaur times, to the Old West, to like maybe medieval times. I thought they were going to, you know, it's
Well, they
just
went to the
one
Old West.
I'm going to medieval times.
Yeah, Scott's been there.
True.
And Scott, don't
Yeah,
expose anything when you're there either.
What's that?
Don't expose anything while you're there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I liked the third one. I didn't like the second one.
Yeah, I like the third one better than the second, except I like some of the stuff from the second, like some of the visions of the future.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I liked the second for being ambitious in the sense of it.
Yeah,
like
he's ambitious.
It has all these sequences. Like one of the things I loved about it was that it went to that kind of meta level where they go back to the past again, and so there's like two time travelers. Like I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I like about the whole series is I feel like they were very ambitious in like covering all of these different complexities of time travel, but in like a fun way. And I liked the third a lot, and I felt like it got kind of unfairly panned. But as somebody who was like at the right age when the second one came out, I have a real extra special attachment to that one because that kind of introduced me to the whole franchise.
I'm back, guys. I just had to do
nice.
Oh, nice.
a little
Look at that.
hoverboarding.
He has his gambling book, and he's ready to.
You know,
Though I have to say, like, I liked the first one 10 times more than any of them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that first one.
Oh
was
yeah, for sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
I really prefer the fourth one. It was really good. Oh, you guys know it's not out yet.
Well, the video
Get it?
game is technically
Jim with
It's
his
time travel,
Hollywood
get it?
connections.
It's a prequel, right?
Yeah.
The fourth one.
It's the building of the car. It's just GM Motors documentary.
Actually, okay, so there is a really good sort of prequel that came out through Telltale Games, and I would recommend it to people. It's pretty fun, but it's like a point and click video game, but it was really nicely written. And they had the original actor do Doc Brown too.
Yeah, I think they somebody took that video game and edited it into like a movie and said it was like Back to the Future 4 or something like that.
Yeah,
They
you can
basically
watch
took-
all the
Cut
clips,
scenes.
the
yeah,
cuts, and
What's your
Hold
best?
on.
What's your best time travel movie? Is it Back to the Future or like what about
Terminator.
Total Recall time travel?
What about yeah,
Time-
Total Recall is
Deja
pretty
Vu.
good.
That's a good question.
Wait,
Time.
I
Time
feel like
travel and Total
Groundhog
Recall?
Day.
There's an indie
Groundhog
one
Day
that
is the
came
best
out.
time travel.
They're not that long, about a couple years back, an indie one.
Oh, the crazy one. I think I know what
Yeah,
you're
I
talking
think I
about.
know which one you're talking about.
Oh, like is it Time Crimes or there's
No, it was like called like it had a weird name like Safety Not Guaranteed or something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
that's not the one I was thinking of.
Oh, there was also.
I thought you were
what
talking
was
about the one where it's like
built
they have
one
a
in the-
box.
in the storage shed.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm
that's
thinking
the one I was
about.
thinking
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
I'll be right
totally-
back.
Oh, Primer.
What was it?
Primer?
Primer.
Yes, that's it.
Primer was really good.
That's
I thought.
incredible.
Primer.
Yeah. Very low budget, but like excellent. Like
Yeah, but, and really smart. Like I
Yeah.
thought it had a very clever, and it seemed like it was trying really hard to make this like how would this really work?
yeah.
What
What was the one with Tom Cruise that was like actually pretty good, where it's like
Oh,
they time travel in war?
Something of Tomorrow, War of Tomorrow, or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
I never got to see
Day
that.
After Tomorrow.
Yeah, something like that.
That was a movie that I had no expectations going in, and then I was just super surprised by how cool it was.
I've heard it's good, and I can't find it.
Well, that was the one where they really messed up with the name of it because it was going to be something Live Die Repeat, and then on the DVD I think they changed it to Live Die Repeat, and people just didn't know Day After Tomorrow.
Well, that's the name of the book. The book was called that, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, which is actually a better title.
Yeah, it sums up what it is. I mean, it's like, and it makes and it's more intriguing.
I feel like the advertising for it too wasn't.
Yeah.
It made it really cool when you saw it because you had no expectation of what it actually was, but I do feel like they kind of dropped the ball in kind of showing a little bit about it, so you'd kind of have a better idea of how rad that movie was, you know.
I liked Time Cop myself.
Time Cop?
Time Cop's pretty good. I'm looking at a list. I really liked Looper.
Oh yeah,
Looper's good.
What's it called, Garrett?
Looper.
Loopers. Oh, was Bruce Willis in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool, actually.
12 Monkeys was fun. That was.
Oh yeah, I love 12 Monkeys. That was great.
Well, that's what's his name too? Brazil director.
Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, Gilliam. Yeah, I feel like Gilliam has like such a just cool vibe to his movies. You know, that's my hot take for the day, you guys. Terry Gilliam.
Gilliam.
Yeah,
he's real creative.
Yeah, he's a real creative director. Hot take.
Put it out there. I don't care what anybody says. I think Terry Gilliam is kind of creative.
You guys keep tuning into this live stream for these hot takes. I'm gonna just drop another one, which is the Beatles were like a very, I know this is a hot take, but like very influential band.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they had a huge influence on rock and roll, I would say. Even
I think
Terminator is far superior to Terminator 2.
I agree with you, Gary.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're probably in a minority here, Scott. Because
I like Terminator 2, but I think it's almost more like a remake than a sequel. You know?
Yeah, and it kind of throws a lot of the ideas from the first one out just to kind of make its own weird thing. And like it's very entertaining, but I like the first one a lot better.
All right, here's something. What's a movie that should have been bad that actually you were like, wow, this turned out good? Like it could be a sequel or something like that.
Pleasure Beast.
I was gonna say that.
RoboCop was one that I when I first heard about it, I'm like, this is gonna be stupid, and it was awesome.
Yeah. That's a great answer because RoboCop should have been a straight-to-video trash fire.
Yeah,
like that should have been like. It's just such a dumb idea, but boy, that's an amazing.
The remake wasn't that great, but I liked the first RoboCop.
The ideal way to
speaking of time travel, I just picked up this Grail, so like I don't know.
Wow. Nice. That's cool. Just that happen to give like everlasting life when you have that Grail.
Oh, we'll find out. If someone can shoot me, we'll find out.
Don't cross the seal.
Wait a minute. You know, Frank, that it should be a carpenter's cup. Oh no.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
You chose poorly.
I chose poorly.
What we need is that life-size skeleton we were talking about on another stream. Yeah. So Frank could
hold on.
Okay. You guys, special effects here.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
What happened to Frank?
Cut.
Frank, are you okay? Frank?
I think Blade Runner 2049 had no right to be as good as it was.
Oh, it was
I heard they were doing so amazing. When I heard they were doing a sequel to Blade Runner, I was so against.
Yeah,
I was just like, why? No, it's going to be.
You know why, Gary? Because my nephew Quinn was on the special effects team.
Oh, is he really?
And they won. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the effects are phenomenal. The whole movie, I think it's actually better than the original. And I can't believe I'm saying that because when I heard they were making it, I was like, this is just.
Is he a medicine woman, Jim?
Is he? Yes. Quinn, yes. He's an Eskimo.
Wow.
Anna was asking us what is the regular time for these live streams. So when I do live streams, it's usually super late at night. And then occasionally on the weekends, I'll do them like kind of in the afternoons or in the mornings.
Don't sugarcoat it. It's not a live stream. It's Night Gang.
Yeah, this is Night Gang. That's right.
Night Gang.
Honestly,
yeah.
there's kind of an initiation to Beyond the Night Gang, so we're all kind of missing fingers. Oh snap! Gary just dropped a.
What did you do, Gary?
A sign that would get you murdered in LA.
Look, I'm just.
That's the real reason I wear this glove.
Did Gary go like that?
You just drop the straight up bloods.
It's just to look.
Which I was gonna say, there's areas of LA do not do that.
Yeah, it's safer to do in Arizona. It's safer to do in the
it's funny too, like people who are unfamiliar of like certain parts of
this
LA
can get you in trouble here
really
too.
digging the Super Bowl, but I know some people in LA who are like, I can't believe Snoop's wearing that.
Yo, lens crafters, lens crafters,
Whoa.
See, okay, Jim's dropping the murder.
Yeah. I'm dropping my goggles, gang.
He's gonna get hit by a drive-by.
All right, guys. This is my chain link logo. That's right, chain link.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right.
What was the another Seinfeld? There was that gang, the Van Buren Boys, and what was the? I'm trying to remember. I think it's like this, like because he was the 8th president or something.
Van Buren Boys. That's so good. That's so good. Oh man. Whew. All right, so we're getting close to the 3-hour mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
It might actually be a good time for me to tap out as well because I finished a panel, which is the
I'm just going to
goal,
stay on here by myself.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I made some good progress. I'm happy. I'm happy with my page. So.
The bravery award for tonight goes to this man right here, Paul Pate, because he's on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Eastern time zone. So it's already 4 p.m. the next day already.
Yeah, it's Scott's birthday. It's been Scott's birthday for a while.
Oh,
that's right. Happy birthday.
That is true. Happy
birthday,
dude.
Scott.
Yeah.
Are we gonna
you
sing?
Better rock some medieval times too. Is that today?
Is that what I'm doing tomorrow for my birthday?
Nice.
I'm going to White Castle for lunch.
Oh,
they open a White Castle out here.
Oh wow!
Give me a water.
Like New York is like, why would you do that on your birthday? But it's like the only one in Arizona. So
I didn't know there was a White Castle. That's awesome.
But
I don't even know if there's one in Cali.
You guys have Whataburger though, so
yeah, but we've had those forever.
You have Whataburgers, Josh? Scott, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, we've had those forever.
Oh yeah,
I know they started in Texas, but we've had them in Arizona since at least.
You know what? What chain you don't have out there?
What's that?
Poopy Sam's Diarrhea Burger.
Do not have it. No.
That's true. You guys are missing out, guys.
I think it's
overrated. Poopy Sam's Diarrhea.
That's the one where there's a line around the corner, but it's to use the restroom.
Yes, right.
So basically, you're saying Tommy's.
I like Tommy's. Come on.
I do too. I like Tommy's too.
Let's go, Josh.
I will rock a Tommy's. All right. I will say, the one burger joint. I don't know. Do they have In-N-Out in Arizona?
Yes,
they do.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. I was gonna rub it in, but I guess you guys.
No,
you guys have.
Look, here's my last hot take for the night.
Oh, here we go.
It's
He's
way
gonna say he doesn't like
overrated
In-N-Out.
anyway. Like, it's not the best burger place around. It's
You know-
California hype. Like, don't listen.
This is going to go on for 3 more hours now between you and Josh because we've done this before.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a war that Corey and I have been in, and I will just say this: like, if you don't have In-N-Out, you're missing out on.
That's what a hamburger's all about.
That's right. That's what it's
Jim,
all about.
Wasn't that the place my daughter wanted to go to? When
Yeah, we
were
did
down
go, didn't we?
there? Yeah. Was it In-N-Out Burger? Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Hey, listen,
All right.
guys.
It's fine.
Anna
It's
is singing
fine.
to Scott in
And
the
it's-
chats.
and it
Happy
has
birthday.
mediocre fries. And the secret menu thing is just bullshit. Give me
I love those meaty.
like this is just stupid.
The secret menu. I'm sorry.
Mediocre
All right,
fries.
now I
That's
gotta
the whole
say,
point, though,
animal
Gary.
style.
Gary, that's the whole
Animal
point.
style is not just a mediocre secret menu. Animal style is like grilled delicious onions like smothered in like their weird Thousand Island dressing and just
Thousand
melted
Island.
with cheese and
Where,
junk.
where
It's
else can
so
you get
good.
Thousand Island?
Gary, Gary, I have to argue the
Yeah,
point about putting the secret menu on the actual menu.
Yeah,
because the whole point of In-N-Out is, as the name says, in and out. You go in and out.
Keep it
if
simple.
they put a bunch of stuff on their menu, people would be like, "Oh, what do I want?" But if you already know, if you're already familiar, so you can just go and order it.
Now,
But
the best
that's why there's only like 5 things
the
on the
best
menu.
argument for In-N-Out is the simplicity of it. Like they're a place that realized that like there's a strength in limitation.
This
and
is
so
the
I'm
counter
just
point.
saying.
They realized
Right
they took
here.
that from
Also,
Like
their
it
French
goes
fries are
straight.
delicious.
They say like, oh, it's simple. The simplicity. You say like, there's nothing on the menu. It's like, well, you need to know the secret menu. The secret menu is bullshit. Well, but we could, we don't want
Well,
the
it's
menu
the
to be
same
too long.
stuff.
They're trying to have
A
it both ways.
Neapolitan shake. If you're calling that bullshit, I don't know what planet
Gary.
you live
I'm
on,
calling
but
it
that's
all
delicious.
bullshit. There are better
Gary,
burgers.
Gary,
All right, you guys.
Jesus
We're gonna go
wrote
for
it out because they write.
Is
Jesus
this an
wrote-
actual fight?
Because they wrote on the bottom of the cups. They put.
That's right.
biblical quotes.
That's right.
That
That's
is
what it's
true.
all about. Is I don't want the Bible verses. On my cup.
Yeah,
No,
so
it's not that at all.
Listen, nerds, we gotta get back to work. So
I do love that.
Wrap
Frank,
it up.
thank you for getting us back on track with your killer muscles. Thanks to everybody who joined us in the chat. Thanks to Gary, even though he has terrible taste in food, for joining us.
terrible taste in burgers.
All right, so why don't we let everybody know where to find our work, starting with Gary, since we'll start with the worst taste in food and then end with the best.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
That is just, I'm so appalled. I'm blanking because it's 1 a.m. I'm going to actually suggest a good burger place, but while I'm looking for it, you can find me on YouTube under my name, Gary Hodges, or you can find me on Instagram, Dinosaurs vs Marsbots, Dinosaurs versus Marsbots.
Nice. All right, cool. Check out
I'm
Dinosaurs
gonna be
versus
jumping in
Marsbots.
when
I will
I
tell you that I know that like watching this last part, for anybody who has taste, you'll be like, oh, I don't know about this Gary guy, but check out his comic because it's actually better of a take it with taste than his taste in burger places.
That's cool.
All right, so that I'm just joking.
Okay, by the
All
way, here we go.
Drop it.
If you Shake Shack, if you want a Shake
That is
Shack is superior to In-N-Out. Okay,
Yeah, I say yes.
Yeah, and there's a really good one on PCH, like out in Seal Beach. Really, really good Shake Shack.
that's the one I was looking for. For some reason, I was blanking on the name, but
It is really,
I had
really
Shake Shack
tasty.
for the first time about a year ago, and it blew my
Good
mind.
stuff.
The
That is good.
Shake
That is good
Shack.
stuff. All right, Scott, where can everybody find your work?
Well, my books are still up there on the Amazon link that's sitting up right there. So you can check those out if you want that. If you want digital products, you can find those on my website. Oh, Frank's holding up some of the books. On digital products, you can go to searchbooks.com.
I got
And I
all the
also have a
books.
YouTube channel. So that's Searchbooks on YouTube.
I love it. All right, Paul, where can everybody find your work?
PaulPate.com.
All right.
That
Okay.
links to all my stuff.
I love it. And you guys should get those graphic novels that were mentioned at the top too. All right. Jim, where can everybody find your beautiful animations?
If you're into deep film analysis and discussion, I'd prefer that you go to jimluhan.com, which is actually, by coincidence, my own name.
Wow.
But you can watch my films there. Just go to jimluhan.com. It goes to my YouTube page. The end.
All right.
How far are you through the latest movie?
I'm about halfway done with the latest movie. So soon I will go into the animation phase of the project. And then look out, fellas.
So at this
Oh,
point-
he's halfway there. Jim's living on a prayer.
Yes.
All right, so-
Yes. That's right. And riding in on
singing in this episode than I would have expected.
riding in on his steel
This is
horse.
not the musical
Frank,
episode?
where can everybody find your comics?
Well, you can find my comics on Etsy.com. You look up Salazar Nation Comics, and you shall find Captain
We
Goggles.
should do a musical
Mini
episode where we
comics.
do each other.
Yes, we should.
like that.
And you can go on YouTube and just look up Salazar Art Nation. You can find me there. The Turaco Creative Cast, where you can catch me and Anna, where we interview guests, and so we just have a good time there. So check it out.
Awesomeness. All right. Thanks to everybody who showed up in the
Kicking it
chat.
to Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, there's 2 falls on this show today.
Yes.
Oh,
That is true. That is
Your
true.
music still sucks.
We're bipolar. Get it? Get it?
Hey, before I go, I'm gonna go, guys. Hey, enjoy the get together. That sounds like fun. I'm jealous. But do a live stream while you're there, so we can.
Yes.
See
Yeah, do a
we'll
live
have to.
stream.
Yeah, that would
That'd be really
super
fun.
That'd be cool.
Even if it's for just like 10 minutes. Just
Yeah. Right.
Sounds good. We'll do it. All right. I forgot to mention. Make sure you guys pick up this book, 2 Stories, which is out right now on Amazon, and also pre-order Jacob's Apartment,
Rap battle.
my graphic novel coming out in June, and that will basically do it. Make sure you guys get out there and be careful, because when strange music comes on, you might find yourself dancing.
Everybody, do the night gang symbol.
Oh,
is this is the night game?
That's totally it. Yeah.
Doing the reverse night game.
Maybe it goes backwards.
Well, the reverse night gang, that's a thing we'll have to talk about off screen, because we'll get demonetized if we talk about it. Otherwise. All right, guys. Have a good night.
What is this one? What is